Live tonight from Hotlanta with the CORA Championship Online Race Hit Association Sunday Muddy Series Season 4 on LSR TV. Race 8 of 24 coming at you from the Atlanta Motor Speedway for 150 laps, 225 miles for our final race with the NASCAR B car in this opening season stint. Up at the LSR TV broadcast booth tonight, myself, Evan Pasoko, alongside PDJ Zeller. No Carl Jones tonight. Hope to see him back in 1 week's time. But PD, we are already on the grid at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, dubbed Hotlanta, under the sun tonight. We were here earlier in the year with the trucks. That one was more of an overcast track with obviously going to be more grip. It's hot tonight. We got the sun out. It's going to be a real slick racetrack, and we're going to run you down right through the grid, starting with our pole sitter after the 5-minute closed qualifying session. Salicardi going to be on pole. That's a 29.281. Alongside him in front row, last week's winner, Nick Doucette.
Starting in third tonight in the 15 machine is Dominic Dyball, and starting in fourth is the number 08 of Scott Bailey.
Nathan Sedlak going to roll from the inside of row 3. That's going to be P5. 6th spot going to go. That's Dustin Lee.
Seventh tonight going to Damon Gilbert, and in eighth, the number 88 of Michael Churchma.
Jason Halverson going to roll the Motorcraft forward off from 9th spot. Rounding out the top 10 is Colton Berkey.
In 11th tonight, the Vortex Motorsports machine of Ryan Borgeson. 12th, Mitchell Reeves.
George Bark looking for some luck. He'll be on the outside of the next row that features both Dustin Lawrence and himself, 13th and 14th.
15th, that small town commuter of Brandon Cruz Montsevice, and in 16th tonight is Daniel E. Miller.
David Wink gonna roll from 20th. That's another storm entry. 18th, Charles Starks.
In 19th tonight is Dylan Ackert. Rolling out in the 20th position is Martin Porter.
Dale Adkins gonna roll from the inside of row 11. That's 21st. 22nd, Gordon Berkey.
23rd, Chad Wilson. 24th, William Roberts.
Tim Johnstone, 25th, and 26th spot gonna go. That's John Pansula.
27th tonight is James Wilkins, and not putting a qualifying time number in 28th is our 4-time winner of the season, Don Stevenson.
Don Stevenson not yet on the grid, waiting to grid up here, so going to be interesting to see if Don's able to make that. He's actually currently being shown, PD, as not in the sim. So this could be a big developing story. We'll keep an eye on that because the field is rolling. No Don Stevenson here quite yet. Joel Wood going to be starting 29th, 30th Mark McFadden, James Brown, Patrick Skyhill, and Everett Lane going to round out our 33-car field. And that's pretty big news that the dominant driver all year, PD, not in the sim, did connect at one point, but did not get a time in the qualifying session. Something happened, and he's not here right now as we get set to go.
Yeah, very developing story. Hope we get more on that as the night goes on. Maybe we'll talk to some of his teammates later on. But as of right now, we have a very surprising pole star tonight. Sal Accardi has not had the runs he has wished for this season, but Sal certainly got the job done tonight, winning the pole here. Sure, that crew is very excited, along with Nicholas Doucette, who won last week. Nick has been on a hot streak lately. He had a good run at Michigan, and now starting second, looking to put one last win in before they switch to the next car in this CORA Sunday Money Series, Evan.
Here we got Indy cars coming up in 1 week's time. Going to be exciting, but we close out this first round of the B cars. So not only is there a championship to look forward to at the end of the line, but there are individual vehicle championships as well that this race is going to play a major factor in. Don Stevenson taking a hit in that regard. Field rolls through 4. Pace car dives down to the safety of pit road. Sal Accardi going to bring us to the green flag. They roll through the quad oval, and green flag in air. We're racing today from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Green flag as Nick Doucette going to pull in second place. Dominic Dyball third, top 3 single file. First battle is going to be side by side for fourth. Give it to Nathan Sedlak.
That battle is going to develop into a 5th place battle, though. Here comes Damon Gilbert. He's underneath the 8 machine, Scott Bailey. Bailey trying to hang on. Remember, this is a fixed setup race tonight. These guys are giving it all they have at a very loose Hotlanta Speedway. So, very exciting for these guys as that battle simmers down. So, looks like everything is simmering down early as Sal Accardi got to the lead. Actually, now we have a battle for third now as Nathan Sedlak thought about making a move on Dominic Dyball, Evan, and things sorting out early here, guys, trying to keep calm.
Yeah, took a look to the inside, not going to come to fruition. He'll wait, side by side in a quarter, nearly 3 wide. It's all around Ryan Borges. 21 car slow off the corner. That's going to hold up that 81 of Colton Berkey, who was on the outside of that side-by-side for 32. So now we go 2 wide, 2 rows deep as the 02 machine ducks to the bottom. That's Mitchell Reeves on the inside of that 81 car. It's going to be Borges who gets clear of this group of cars. 21 going to go single file as well. So it is going to be a battle between Mitchell Reeves and the 81 of Colton Berkey. Behind them, George Bark, not wasting any time, tucked up on their back bumper, trying to advance his position here, see if they can get that one. Now 3 wide off the corner, 81 car, hard in the outside wall. Colton Berkey caught it, now more 3 wide, the 02, the 21, the 42, as this big hornet's nest of cars just around P10, 81 going backwards, still door to door with Reeves and at 21 of Halverson.
George Bark looking for a hole. He's right up here, and he wants to find a way around these two. Battle from side by side. George Bark's not going to make it 3 wide as they're going to continue to battle on. It looked as though for a second Nick Doucette was going to pass the leader, but he got loose and is now falling back. Battle for third. Nathan Sedlak underneath the 51 of Nicholas Doucette. Sedlak trying to get third and try to get his first win on the season here. He's been strong so much in these B cars, just has not had the luck he had needed. Maybe tonight could be the night for him as he's working on that Nicholas Doucette machine as they race side by side for third. Right behind them is Damon Gilbert, consistently the most dominant Ford in the CORA Sunday Money Series. It's been fun watching him race his Ford around here. We've seen a really dominant Chevy field as we've talked about in past weeks. The battle is still going on for third right now, Doucette versus Sedlick, and it looks as though Sedlick's just going to give in and let them two go by, Evan.
He pulls down low, sticks the hand out the window, waits the 51 and the 68 on by of Damon Gilbert. Had a challenge for the lead. Dominic Dyball got up to the back bumper of Salicardi a few times. You see, just off of that 39 car for the top spot, has not made a move yet to the inside, but he is there and possibly going to force that issue out of the 39, force him into a mistake. 39 a little bit higher at that time through 2, and there you go. To the bottom goes the 15, tucking back in line, Dominic Dyball, trying to be able to get the run that he needs if he wants to be able to put a move on Salicardi. 51 closing up behind them, and it was Nick Doucette who was waiting, and then it was the 68 of Damon Gilbert who went to the bottom to take advantage of that. So going to be side by side for third spot. 51 on the outside of that. He had the advantage at the start-finish line, PD, but a great start to this race. Still green through lap 7, and a lot of side-by-side action all the way through this field as the top 5 get it sorted out for now.
Yeah, first side-by-side battle right now is between the 02 of Mitchell Reeves and the number 40, and they're going to think about 3 wide there. Oh, Mitchell Reeves into the wall hard. Reeves is going to come down the track. He's trying to hang on, and Mitchell Reeves will hang on to that machine, but he's going to lose a ton of spots here. Reeves falling back to the field. These guys got to be careful checking up the 99, and they get it's tight, and ooh, that could have been another wreck. It looks as though everyone's going to hang on. Mitchell Reeves, very tough break for him and his team there. And that will make everything basically single foul through the field right now as Dominic Dyball is still trying to find a way around Salicardi for the lead right now, Evan.
Yeah, that 02 just put himself in the fence, tried to peek out to the outside and caught that safer barrier, rode the wall, and it's going to drop him back to outside the top 20. We are single file inside of this lead group of cars. We're staggered, though. The 51 looks to the bottom. He's going to make something happen. Last week's winner, Nicholas Doucette, after starting in the number 3 spot, trying to get back up through this race after starting second. Sitting third right now, trying to get back to where he started. Down on the bottom lane, has a nose on the left rear quarter panel of the Dominic Dyball Chevrolet, who's up on that high side. Damon Gilbert as well, right in that middle lane. You see the 51 trying to cheat PD all over that white line. Had to walk it up the hill a little bit. It's going to allow Dyball to get clear and actually open up a small window of opportunity right here for Damon Gilbert to put that Ford to the outside and try to make a pass for P3.
Also, Dustin Lee thinking about getting racy here with Michael Churchma. Churchma making a power move to the inside here. He wants that position as the battle for the lead is still as intense as it was. Churchma going to push his Storm Vortex teammate, that is the number 35, Nathan Sedlick, and they're going to try to push each other by the 50 of Dustin Lee. Borges right there, a lot of Storm help on the inside. We didn't have any Storm cars start within the top 3 positions tonight, so very unusual from what we've seen so far this season. We've really seen them qualify well and finish out well. So right now, though, we're watching battle for the second is the number 51. Nicholas Doucette is trying to race with Damon Gilbert here as things are wild all over the racetrack, Kevin.
And we were here earlier in the year, again, made note of that for 125 laps in the Chevrolet Silverados, the NASCAR trucks earlier on, and it was a very overcast conditions, very cool temperatures, which means that those trucks had a lot more grip than these beat cars do when they're under the beating sun. 96 degrees track temperature right now, partly cloudy But again, it's significantly warmer. All over the bumper for first still. Dominic Dieball not cutting the 39 Eddie Slack PD takes a peek to the inside, down at a 3, not going to come from that. And how about Damon Gilbert? You said the fastest forward all year long, making moves on the outside. He's essentially just waiting for the guys in front of him to try to make a move, capitalizing on that. He did the same thing to Doucette, and after starting in 7th spot, the 68 car moving forward in a hurry, trying to battle for second. 15 got to slide up, not giving him any room quite yet. They're going at it though. Battle's on. That's P2.
Yeah, right now I'm watching the 51 Nicholas Doucette right behind them. He's caught them quick every corner I noticed, though he puts his wheels a little bit below that white line. He makes the track turn for him. He has to be eating up his tires bad here. As we watch Damon Gilbert try to go around the 15 of Dominic Dieball, and he's clear. Give second position to Damon Gilbert, a power move on the outside, and he's going to set his sights on Sal Accardi in the 39. Sal is always here. We haven't seen him run up front this season, like I said, but he's certainly doing a good job hanging on tonight. I'm sure Sal's thrilled to be having the run he's having so far. Still early in the event, though. 150 laps we run here, just like we did at Charlotte. This is a much different track than Charlotte. I mean, it's a high-speed track, a lot wider corners, and a lot more loose racing. As we see Damon Gilbert try to make a move on Sal Accardi. Damon Gilbert to the outside.
Sticks the nose out there, however, it's hard to keep that momentum when you go to the high side, and he'll be cleared into the corner, really drives it in the 1. He is riding about 1-2 lanes higher, and now everybody catching up to them because they're going at it side by side. Look at the run from Dominic Dieball down to the bottom. So now Damon Gilbert better make that outside lane work, or he'll go backwards because he's now on the outside of that 39, pinching him down, not giving anybody any room for the top spot, and give him a nose at a quarter number 4. Drag race to the start-finish line advantage to now race leader Damon Gilbert. Still trying to clear though, 2 wide, 2 rows deep. He's trying to work around Accardi, and it was Dominic Dieball who went down to the bottom as the 51 Eddie Doucette resurging on the high side, and give it, the 68 car is through and clear. He's bringing Doucette with him.
Damon Gilbert with a power move. What a move by that driver. He's the lead. Moves Sal Accardi to second, but he has trouble now from Nicholas Doucette, the 51. The young gun of this league is trying to prove that last week was no fluke and that he can win on any given week. Here we go, racing for second. Sal Accardi, Nicholas Doucette. Doucette is always a contender with these mile-and-a-halves, and we have a battle for second brewing up as Damon Gilbert starting to walk away a little bit. This is one of them 1.5 milers where the draft is really heavy. As you can see right now, the draft is having a big effect. Unlike Charlotte, where the draft wasn't as big as the deal as it is here, as we're going to see Nicholas Doucette probably get a good run off this corner as we would anticipate. And Dominic Dieball, though, is considering he's going to go with Doucette and give second to Nicholas Doucette.
I was about to say that, PD, I thought that 51 was starting to go backwards because he was trying to work the bottom lane again, started second, slid back to 4th at one point, and figured out that it's not the bottom the fastest way around. It's about a lane or 2 up on that middle area of the racetrack, and he's been able to get back to second, side by side for third. The 15 machine up at a high side, that's going to be Dominic Dieball. He's going to be challenging. The 50 machine got real sideways off the quarter. That caused a checkup from Sedlak, and again, they're still battling through this track. You see 3rd through about 6th in this battle right here, PD. They've been battling around 15th as well, which I've been wanting to make note of, but again, just inside the top 5, these are the major positions that we got to keep track of. Always battling. The 15 going to get clear of Sal Accardi. 39 going the wrong way, going to get in line, not enough room. Here's Dustin Lee up high.
Yeah, and right behind them, Ryan Borges and Nathan Sudico battling with Michael Churchman, number 3 teammates right there. And still, we've not seen John Stevenson show up. We must have seen something was wrong with him, but certainly wish he was out here tonight. His 3 teammates, though, are going to go at it here for 7th through 6th and 8th right now. That's 6th through 8, sorry. As they're battling hard right now, though. Falling backwards is Sal Accardi. He's back to 4th, and he's not going to hold on to that for long because Dustin Lee is right there, and Dustin Lee's been fast these last few laps, so Sal certainly falling back to the field and wants to figure out the field is on the long run. Something that he may struggle with right now, as we see no immediate battles up on the racetrack right now until we get to about the 10th position. Actually make that 7th, actually. We see Ryan Borges still trying to battle with his teammate Michael Churchma. All things are starting to get caught up here, though. We're starting to catch back up with each other this draft, Evan.
Got a couple of guys that have been making their way through the field. Again, Damon Gilbert plus 6 spots to get up to the top spot right there. Another guy moving forward is Ryan Borges. Started 11th, picks up a few. He's in 8th spot. George Bark is 4 in the positive, up to 10th. David Wink started 17th, up to 11th. And Martin Porter, shout out to the driver of the number 8 car, who sits right now in 12th position. That left lane racing entry has gained 8 spots. He's up to 12th position. William Roberts, another guy that's been able to pick up a few. He's picked up now 10 as he goes to the inside on Dylan Ackert. This, a battle for 14th position. 30 car, not much of a challenge to the bottom, through and clear. And now we got trouble. Caution flag on a racetrack, not with our leaders. It's in 1 and 2 now. Trouble on the back. Tim Johnstone, Dale Adkins, Jason Halverson involved as well. 3 cars, 4 now. Turned around on the back straightaway. Looks like damage on Mark McFadden is going to bring out a caution flag on this one, PD. And it looks like a situation of the 95 car just drove in too hard on the bottom of the 48. We're going to work replay going up live right now. You see this in 1 and 2. Looks like that 95 just drove it in too hard. PD maybe tried to get in line, but he took out that 48 and everybody behind him went with.
Yeah, and certainly a tough wreck. Don't like to see them early in these races. CORA is certainly known for some good green flag racing, as we are accustomed to so far this season. So early caution. They actually had a good green flag start here, Evan. I think they made it about 25 laps there, so certainly fun to watch them go at it. Had some good battle for the lead, but when the dust settles on this one, it will be Damon Gilbert who takes over the lead after starting 7th. He made his way through this field, as we are going to see him all come down pit road here, Evan.
Yeah, leaders down pit road, crossing over laps 23 to 24. Gilbert going to lead us down. I want to see how good of a pit stop he can get, because he's way back in the number 7 pit stall. Advantage is going to go to Doucette Diabolicardi. The guys all behind him because they obviously got the better stalls. 35, way over driving his entry was Nathan Sedlak. He had to put that in reverse, and that's going to cost him some time. Drag race off of pit road. 3 guys going at it, and it's going to be Damon Gilbert. Atlanta, PD, one of the racetracks that scoring loop is actually quite further away from those stalls than some other ones, which allowed Gilbert to get up to speed. If it wasn't, 51 would have had it if we were at a different track, but Atlanta, very interesting where those green cones are, so Damon Gilbert's going to be able to get it, but a great stop. David Wank, how about that 20 car? Throw in the strategy car early at 8.5 second stop on that 20 Chevrolet to be able to get up to the 2nd spot.
Certainly a questionable call there, I have to believe. This is a track that will eat up your tires left and right, so that could come back to affect him negatively. We actually saw Everett Lane stay out here. I don't know if he's going to bring down the pit road. It appears that he is going to stay out, so he'll be your new leader, folks. Everett Lane did stay out, so going to note tire strategy call. Now it's called Wank strategy risky. Well, Everett's real risky. This Atlanta track, Evan, is so abrasive. They call it Hot Atlanta for a reason. It gets hot, it's a real rough track, it's bumpy, and it's so wide and fast that your tires get eaten up so aggressively that even taking 2 tires can be a risky call here, because this track is just so abrasive. It's hard to keep your tires in shape here.
Some drivers are more favoritive of those kind of racetracks there, where you kind of got to muscle the cars around, and there's other drivers that'll prefer a kind of racetrack where it's smooth, and you know, you just got to kind of finesse that car around the corner. So every driver has a different preference on what kind of racetrack that they like. One thing that though has stood out, PD, is throughout all the races so far this year, 7 total so far in the books on season 4, is the fact that it has been the Storm Motorsports gang that has been dominating, and don't want to, you know, beat the dead horse, but the leader of them, essentially Don Stevenson, who's taken win after win after win, not in the field tonight. We mentioned that he did load in, had disconnected for some sort of reason, has not joined back, so I mean, a hit for him in the individual car championship as well, not for the overall, because again, working race 8 of 24 here this evening, 19 races before we cut the field down to 12 and have 5 races for the championship, but still a B-card points championship would be nice, and he's had 2 rough weeks.
Yeah, and you know, you can't really afford 2 tough weeks this early in the season. You gotta start off strong. I mean, it's not so important in points maybe, but it's more important as in a statement here, folks. So we get ready for another restart. Everett Lane's going to be leading him down. He was our in-race reporter not too long ago. But it should just be fun to watch here, Evan, and I do believe that we're going to see a lot more drafting on this restart, and I think we're going to see what we saw last time, just a lot of good side-by-side racing here.
We're getting set to go at it once again as the lights are off on top of the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car up at the front of the field. And I was going to make a Ford joke, but it is a Ford leading this race in the 8 of Damon Gilbert, who, again, PD, we've seen the last few weeks is almost not, I don't really want to say surprisingly has, but has really picked it up. Been top 5, top 10 cars, and starting 7th position, quickly made his way to the front. Want to see how that one will shake out in him. The 24 of Everett Lane is at the front of the field, PD. That machine did not come down pit road, so Everett going to be on the outside. Damon Gilbert is on 4 fresh tires, and we have 2 tires as well from the 20 camp from David Wink. So a lot going on this restart. Green flag back in the air. Everett Lane leads us back, and no restart at all. Damon Gilbert sleeping. 15 tries to look low. That whole bottom lane going to get held up, and Nick Doucette going to be able to get through to second. No challenge back. Gilbert really throwing it into 1 and 2. Make it side by side.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Everett Lane wants to see as these guys battle. He wants to get a big enough lead, maybe 1 or 2 seconds, where he can get his tires on equal playing ground with the guys behind him as they still battle for second. He's going to want to drive away a little bit here, although Damon Gilbert is clear of Nicholas Doucette, so that's not what Everett needed. Everett needed to get a little bit of the lead and some time for the tires to equal themselves out here, but that will not fall his way as we expect to see Damon Gilbert and Nicholas Doucette close on him now. I do not expect no tires. We see him just close in like hungry dogs here in this corner, and they're catching him about 4 tenths per corner now. That no tires is going to really show up here, especially in the early laps as we have some single file racing throughout the top 5 right now. Is Damon Gilbert has already caught Everett Lane, and he's taking his lead back.
No question about it. Here comes the 68 to the bottom on that 24 of Everett Lane. Everett going to stay high. Advantage to Gilbert at the start-finish line, and it's going to be right here when they pick back up the throttle. Gone goes Damon Gilbert, the 24 car, yielding high to allow him and the 51 to get through. David Wink coming with help from Dominic Dieball. Dominic has been all over the back bumper of whoever's been in front of him. They're side by side behind them, which means it may force us into a 3-wide situation. Look at the 50 car. Dustin Lee gets stuck behind that 24. Nowhere to go. PD going to lose a few spots. The 39 of Salicardi. 2 tires in the grass that time through. Everybody digging. Oh, almost made contact with the 24.
You might have met some. Oh, that made things go from bad to worse for Everett Lane. He goes up the racetrack, tries to pinch the 50. That could have got bad. George Bark benefits from that the most, though, as we have some aggressive racing now for the 2nd position. David Wenk on 2 tires is hanging on strong right now with just the right sides. He has trouble, though. Dominic Dieball is there on 4, and Dominic's looking to take back 3rd position. He qualified 2nd, had a strong run all night, as he's just going to have to settle right now, though. So what I've seen so far is no tires don't do, 2 tires maybe, because it is working okay for David Wenk, as he's actually losing ground still to the 2 leaders, but I don't think that has any of the doing of the tires. I think them are just the 2 dominant cars so far tonight in 1st and 2nd, Evan.
Yeah, they're about half a second to the good over David Wink on back. Dieball still sits in 4th. 5th is Salicardi. Brian Borges, one of the bigger movers, starting at 11th, up the 6th position. Obviously, David Wink, a lot of positions good. We got trouble behind our leaders. Caution flag, big jump.
Oh, it's a big one.
At a quarter number 4, we're still wrecking. The 48 just got turned around. The 29, Dylan Ackert, hard into the outside wall. We got 2, 3, 4 guys out in the grass, a couple of them into the inside wall on pit road, and something got real ugly in the quarter. Pete, did you just say the 42 of George Bark?
Yeah, I saw George Bark involved with that. The 50 got into the 42 there. That would be Dustin Lee got into George Bark there. They were battling down at corner number 3, and Bork it looks like it might have been a little bit Netco involved, but Bark definitely just spun out. Oh, big checking up. Nathan Sedlak got involved, and just a whole big pile up. Almost everyone behind that got involved. A lot of hard hits there, and some tough breaks for guys like Nathan Sedlak and George Bark, who seem to have got the worst of that.
Didn't look like any Netco. Looks like George Bark just, I'm hesitant to say that he got dumped because obviously the 50 on the inside, George was obviously pinching him down, trying to be able to defend his position, but, they both just kind of met each other. Would have been okay, but it was because Bark was sideways. It actually all got kicked off. The 00, James Brown had absolutely nowhere to go, PD. Tried to turn right, took out the 35 of Sedlak, and then that essentially had blocked the track from there on back. And a lot of big mess from there on through. About a dozen cars get to pick up some sort of relative damage in that mix. And we're going to slow them down once again for our 2nd caution flag so far in the race. So far, so good for that 20 of David Wink, sitting 3rd on that 2-tire call.
Yeah, and certainly interesting decision there. So it's been interesting to watch, though. I think 4 tires the way to go, though, from what we've seen so far with Damon Gilbert in the lead and Nicholas Doucette in 2nd, both taking 4. David Wenk still hanging in there in third, so 2 tires may not be an awful call, but I think the winning move will be 4 tires. If you get 2 or 1 lap shootout and you can get the lead out of it, you might be able to hold on, Evan, but I do believe that 4 is the way to go. But you never know. David Wenk, certainly this call is looking like a good one. He definitely got a bunch of positions out of that one. He started in 17th position. He was running right about there till that caution, so he has gained about 15 positions off the strategy call, and I guess that's probably a big win for the 20 camp.
Damon Gilbert again at the top spot. We currently sit with 28 cars on the lead lap as they run right now. Chad Wilson, the last car on the lead lap. The guys that are off the lead lap right now, Dal Adkins, 1 lap down, and then a group of guys 2 laps down in their stalls, Jason Halverson, Nathan Sedlak, Tim Johnstone. Obviously, a lot more guys got to cycle down, getting their quick fixes and getting some repairs if they have already been involved in an incident earlier in the race. But going to take this opportunity under the caution flag to talk about our last week's results when we were once again out in these NASCAR B cars at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for what was about our 4th or 5th, I want to say, consecutive B car race. We had them at Miami as well as Michigan, Charlotte. So the 3rd in a row, going to be the 4th tonight. It was originally going to be 3, but again, one of the super late model races was replaced, which is why we went to the Homestead Miami Speedway in these cars back on November the 16th. Get this first stint of this car kicked off. But again, if you're new to CORA, going to have short stints in each car. So next one coming up is the Indy car. We started with the trucks. They all balance out, and then there's going to be 5 cars used total. Not sure if that'll be changed with the fact that the super late models were excluded, but in theory, all 5 of the cars that we're going to run in the regular season are going to have 1 race in each of them in the chase for the championship, which makes the series so hard to run. But it was the B cars at Charlotte, and that saw Nicholas Doucette take home the checkered flag. Ryan Borges 2nd in that one. Scott Bailey 3rd. Damon Gilbert 4th. 5th place would go to Chad Wilson. Brandon Mossavais coming home in 6th. 7th, Gordon Berkey. Dylan Ackert in an 8th place result. Everett Lane 9th. And Jason Halverson would round out our top 10 in that one. Back doubled up the cutoff for the chase right now. As it looks, it is 12th position where that cutoff is going to be made. Dustin Lee is in, and on the outside looking in is Dominic Dieball, but that is a 13-point gap for that chase cutoff. Still 11 races to go, though, PD, until we slim down this field and get set to battle for the real championship coming up. But always something to just keep an eye on. A lot of the drivers on that cutoff are guys that we see up front week in and week out. They just had 1 or 2 tough races, and that's what's dropped them back there in the points. So competitive.
It has been very competitive, and certainly looking forward to that chase. I think one thing we learned last week, though, Evan, is Storm Motorsports. People have worked this season. They are starting to catch up with that program, and people are starting to learn a lot more about their cars. And last week we saw that team start to fall apart a little bit, so certainly people are improving and getting closer to the Storm Motorsports program here. So get ready for another restart, Evan.
And momentum is a crazy thing. Pace car down. You get a lot of wins, you get more, and you have one rough night, and it continues tonight. Green flag in the air. There is a Storm car in 3rd position. Check up right around it. That is that 20 of David Wake. Again, on that 2-tire strategy call as we're back underway. Inside lane has been checked up behind the 39 of Salicardi, but it looks like that 20 car going to have a good run down low. David Wake trying to get clear for 2nd. He'll get the job done. Here comes Ryan Borges flying up. That's a Vortex entry.
Yeah. Ryan Borges has been a contender each and every week, and he is showing it once again tonight. Here he is underneath the 51 of Doucette. He's going to battle with Nicholas Doucette. Right in front of them is his teammate, quote-unquote, David Wenk. Battling side by side. Borges thinks about taking 3 wide. Will he be able to get a nose in there? No, he will not. He's just going to have to push David Wenk through the hole. Right now, though, right next to him is Dominic Dieball. We have a little pack forming here as Damon Gilbert's waving goodbye and starting to pull away. So Ryan Borges making some big moves early as he is battling with Dominic Dieball, but he sure wants to get by these 2 cars in front of him, David Wenk and Nicholas Doucette, so he can have a chance at the first place run right now. Damon Gilbert, he had a strong run last week, and he's looking to tap it off tonight.
Yeah, unsure of the move that the 20 car made when they went into 3 coming off that restart, because he was single file and threw it down to the apron like he was trying to get to the inside of Damon Gilbert, and that has just not worked out for him. Nick Doucette going to use the high side, move the 51 Chevrolet, going to go up back to P2. Dominic Dieball through to 3rd. The 20 car going the wrong direction, down on that bottom lane that again has proved to not be the preferred place to be. Tonight, the outsider, that middle lane, has shown that it is much stronger, especially on corner exit, being able to pick the throttle back up, but it is now going to be 0.4 of a second to the good, for Damon Gilbert. Got a 1 car on the outside wall. Believe it is the 48 of Mark McFadden. He was a little bit slow. Nonetheless, everybody's still going some 2 wide throughout the pack, but real bumper to bumper now up inside the top 10. Looks like Salicardi's got a challenge. The 88 of Michael Churchma all over his left rear and going to go to the inside.
Yeah, Salicardi, our pole setter, is starting to fall back to his field a little bit. Michael Churchma is right there. Churchma wants to get inside him on his first battle for the racetrack. Churchma's had some strong runs for the season, especially back in Michigan, but looking to get his first win on the season here as he's going to try to find a way around Cardi, as Cardi will get clear of him. So that will make things single file out for quite some time around this racetrack. But right now, one thing is consistent. Damon Gilbert is pulling away from the field with Nicholas Doucette in second. We've seen them be 1-2 about all night. And I should say 1-2-3 because Dieball has been the third about all night. So these 3 cars have seemed to be the dominant ones so far. I expect that to change off tonight. Some guys probably going to work on their cars and him to go a little bit faster here. But right now, though, it seems like Damon Gilbert is that car to beat, Evan.
Yeah, look at real stout up front. The lead has been trimmed down by just a 10th by Nicholas Doucette, who started going the wrong direction on the start and has been able to get back up to where he started, which is P2. Dominic Dieball started third. That's where he runs right now. David Wank, again, still trying to hang on until we get to our next cycle of stops, which could consider this tire strategy a win. Started 17th, entered pit road in 11th, which is where he took the 2-tire call, bumped him up to second. He's in 4th right now. Not too far off pace with Dominic Dieball. He does have Ryan Borges, though, closing very closely behind him. Those guys are essentially teammates, partner teams. So obviously those guys not going to really put up too much of a fight with each other, you would imagine, before the 1/3 mark in this race, working lap 42 of 150. But going to fight for it. Salicardi getting a little bit physical, a little bit of a bumper tap. That time through the quarter, looks to the bottom, and that is the Ryan Borges machine in front of him, Petey. All this going around 7th spot. Other than that, things rather calm for the first time tonight. Really no major battles going on. Oh, we got contact. 29, Dylan Acker. Sideways, the 50 car going to get turned around. Dustin Lee hard in the wall.
That will bring out our 3rd caution on the night, just closing on the 1/3 mark. Dustin Lee, a contender, already involved in the wreck tonight, is going to get the worst end of that one here. The 50 car went around. It all started with that 29, though. Coming out of corner number 2, we just saw that number 29 get a little bit of contact, I believe, Evan, from the 50.
50 was on the bottom, and another one of those situations where looked like a little bit of a netcode or prediction error, but they just kind of met each other. And I just happened to click on the 29 right as this was happening, got turned sideways and saved it. A great save by Dylan Acker, but it was the 50 who had initially got into him, which is the Dustin Lee machine, PD, who slammed the brakes, got hit by George Bark, who got hit by the 37, Gordon Berkey. 50 got turned around and made heavy contact with the outside wall. The 60 machine going to get involved. That's Patrick Skyhill. That's the first time that we've seen him, PD, be innocently collected at an incident, and now we slow him back down on lap 44. Curious to see if we see any cycles on pit road this time through. 68 heading down to the apron. Could see a lot of 2-tire calls on this. We'll see. Looks like the majority of our leaders going to be bringing it down.
Certainly, though, we'll see the 4th place machine of David Wank. I don't see no way we see him take 2 tires again, but you never know. As we see these guys bring him down pit road, David Wank can be the first one into his pit stall, and next one's going to be Damon Gilbert. Remember, he qualified deeper in the field, so he's going to have a deeper pit stall. We're going to watch this machine of Damon Gilbert. Definitely the right sides are going on here. Was curious to see if they go around and put left sides on it. And I believe, yep, 4-tire stop here for the number 68 crew. He's going to try to get off pit road first. He's down and away, and it is going to be close, but he is going to get the battle off pit road. Give it to Damon Gilbert.
So Gilbert brings them down. He leads them off as he sits at the top of the field right now. We have a couple cars that have stayed out. Brandon Cruz Massa Vice is out on track. You got a couple of guys laps down. George Bark staying out as well. Bark was involved in an incident, so may predict the 42, bringing it down pit road, maybe staying out to try to get a bonus point. But we do have a couple that have stayed out. 2 lead lap cars, a couple of guys waiting for some wave rounds, but it was Damon Gilbert who led the cars down pit road. He led them off as well, and he is the first car that's going to be on those fresh tires. We're closing in on the 1/3 mark in tonight's CORA Sunday Muddy Series race from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Get a step away for a commercial break as the 42 hits pit road. A lot more action coming up from Hot Atlanta tonight as George Bark brings it down. We'll see you on the other side getting set for a restart. up at tomorrow. Copy. Button. Back live from the Atlanta Motor Speedway live tonight on LSR TV. You're watching, as always, the CORA Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series Season 4. Coming at you with Race 8 from Hotlanta. Still working under the caution flag as the field works behind the pace car right now. Lights still on. The crews are still cleaning up a lot of oil on the racetrack. So we continue to pace at the moment with Brandon Moss-Weiss now in the top spot. Petey finds himself in front of Damon Gilbert.
Yeah, so Brandon Moss-Weiss. We've seen him run up front a lot lately. That crew's really started to turn their season around as of late. And I know they're probably thrilled about it, so Brandon Moss-Weiss is having another good night here, leading some more laps in that small-town computers car. I always like to give his sponsors a shout-out, along with everyone else's sponsors, whenever we get a chance to talk about them. So Brandon leading this race right now over Damon Gilbert. Last time someone stayed out with no tires and Damon was in second. We know how that turned out. Definitely did not go in Everett Lane's way, but maybe Brandon knows something that Everett Lane did as we get ready for another restart here. Also a new fourth-place driver, Daniel E. Miller, on a two-tire strategy, so a lot of strategy going on in the early stages of this race, Evan.
The strategy is abundant, this time by Going to be 100 laps to go. So we are a third distance in tonight's race. Again, we had the opportunity to give you last week's results where we were back in these B cars at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Having an updated look at the top of the championship. It is Ryan Borges who sits on top, sitting with 1 pole and 1 win. But Don Stevenson, 2 poles, 4 wins, and 5 top 5s. He is not in the field tonight. Could lose some significant ground because Nathan Sedlak only 6 points behind him was third. Nick Doucette up there as well, 52 off the lead in fourth. 5th position, George Bark. Impressed to see Bark up there, Petey, despite the rough few races that he's had after winning at Daytona.
Yeah, Nicholas Doucette looks like he's pulling down. I'm not sure what he's doing. Doucette's pulling down.
He was given an EOL penalty along with Tim Johnstone.
So definitely, I don't know what that was about. Maybe there was definitely a lot of contact on the restart there. So certainly could be a frustrating situation with Doucette camp.
Yeah, I know that he was working with some left rear damage, so maybe we can get an official word on that. But the green flag is getting set to come back out this time, and it is going to be a driver on the no tire call who's going to be leading us to it. 54 of Brandon Cruz Monsevice. On the bottom lane, up high, is Damon Gilbert. Pace car gets set and now has pulled down, making that sharp left-hand turn to pit lane. The field groups up now, and they're all over each other's bumpers. Green flag in the air, back underway we go. A great start for the 54. More importantly, great start for Dominic Dieball, because now he's going to be the first car that's able to attack.
Yeah, did not go. Did the 68 of Damon Gilbert. I noticed he's had a bad restart tonight when he is the second place machine and not controlling the restart, but right now Brandon Monsevis Cruz is in the lead, being followed closely by Dominic Dieball. That is not a battle though right now. A good battle is the 09 and the 02. Mitchell Reeves, Daniel Miller, both guys on 2 tires trying it out so far. Learning to battle with each other. Guy right in front of them is David Wenck, who's in 4th right now. He took 4 tires, first time he's done that all night last time. As we have some good racing going on right here between Ryan Borges and the number 79 of Joel Wood. So certainly a lot of good racing going on right now. As we have a lead change though, Brandon Monsevis is being passed by the 15 of Dominic Dieball and Damon Gilbert.
Yeah, the 15 to the bottom as well. It is the 54 of Brandon Cruz Monsevice who is going the wrong direction. Damon Gilbert follows Dominic Dieball through, so the 15 and the 68 is going to go back up to P1 and P2. 54 going to hang on for a 3rd place run right now. There you find David Wenck, one more back in 4th place. Again, made the tire strategy call to get there. And 5th on back is a big hornet's nest of cars. The 09, Daniel Miller up high. You got on the bottom, Mitchell Reeves, the 79, Joel Wood up high. Borges is working back end damage. The 08, Scott Bailey, the 30, all in this mix. 2 wide, about 2 rows deep. Single filing out at the moment for the 8th spot, but Borges still fighting with that 02.
Yeah, Ryan Borges, contender weekend. We got to talk about him a lot. Borges is battling with the 02. Both guys in front of him on 2 tires. I'm starting to really like that 2-tire call on him. If you can get up with the lead from it, you can probably hang on if it's late in the stage of this event. 3 wide behind him, almost. Hold on. That did not have enough time to form, so the first down the racetrack is still going to be Borges and the 02 Mitchell Reeves, but actually Reeves has cleared him now, and that was no longer a battle as things are starting to calm down once again multiple times on these restarts.
Not sure if Joel Wood just tried to dump the 30 or if he got loose, but the 30 slid right up in front of him. The 79 just turned dead right into the left rear of that 30 car. They continue to battle now back outside of the top 10. The 30 of William Roberts is 9th, and Joel Wood slides back to 11th. But a very strange incident we saw there. Now going at it for 3rd. The 20 David Wenck to the bottom, and really nothing that 54 PD is able to do. He needs to hope that he can do what that 20 machine did earlier, and that's the car, ironically, that's passing him now. And that is, even though he took 2 tires, if you're on none, you just got to make it until a caution flag and hope everybody fits. There's a yellow. Caution flag going to fly just as we were side by side for the lead. It's the 50.
Another incident, we see the 50 of Dustin Lee collected in. And ironically, it was George Bark. We've seen them collected in all 3 incidents that we've seen them 2 involved. And it looks as though Dustin just came up into the 42 of George Bark. Nothing George could do there. And it just sent the 50 around, put George into the wall. So both these machines have been involved in the last 3 cautions with each other.
Yet again, Petey, it is George Bark, as the replay goes up now, who is caught up in yet again another incident, as he has had a really rough few weeks here, incident-wise. Meanwhile, Dominic Dieball, the 15 car, is your race leader. Right as that caution flag was flying, it was the 68 of Damon Gilbert who had gotten himself the position, went to the outside and was making it side by side right when that yellow actually ended up flying. So he's actually going to have to settle back into number 2 spot. But the 68 still proven that he's got the speed and he's being willing to beat up there and make those aggressive moves as he was about to. Unfortunately, going to have to wait. Shout out to Patrick Scahill. That 60 car PD has been at a wreck. He started in 32nd. He's 10th right now.
Yeah, definitely good to see him run up there in a 60 machine. I haven't seen him run up front a lot this season. Had some unfortunate luck. One machine who's not having bad luck at all, who probably wanted to see that caution, Brandon Cruz Montevise. That'll give his tires another chance to cool down. The tires are more equal now. Probably not as equally as they would want to see them, but Brandon will certainly have a more fair and equal chance now. As he's going to bring down pit road, I believe. Yep, Brandon Cruz Montevise is going to bring it down pit road along with the O2 machine. So maybe just stayed out to lead a lap, Evan.
Well, he brought it down. He did get some laps led, and May felt like that everybody was getting grouped back up. He may get run over at this point, so he's going to come down pit road. He pits. You said the O2 came down with him. That is the Mitchell Reeves machine. Ryan Borges in as well, getting a quick fix of the back bumper on that Vortex machine. Has now been repaired. Mark McFadden, James Wilkins, Dustin Loys, Nick Doucette side by side with Dale Atkins. At a pit road, George Bart, Pansula, Everett Lane, Dustin Lee, just to name all the guys that came down for service. But these guys have really been utilizing these quick fixes to their advantage, BD. Still 30 out of the 32 cars that started this race on the green flag on the lead lap at this point, nearly halfway through, and we have had a small handful of yellows.
Yeah, gotta be absolutely excited if you're one of them guys right now. Nicholas Doucette, though, I believe that he has one of the more fast machines in this field so far tonight, and he's going to have a hard time finding his way through this field. It's a big field tonight, and Doucette certainly has a long way to go. He still has around 90 laps to get there, but the Doucette machine might have to do some strategy like Wenk did if he wants to find his way back to the front. I think taking 4 tires there is definitely a smart idea on his part. He'll have a tire advantage, but as high as I think he can get under green conditions will be 13th before they possibly see another caution, so Nicholas Doucette has a lot of ground to make up, and it seemed as though he had one of the more dominant cars, so definitely getting that EOL was a tough break for the 51 machine.
And this Atlanta Motor Speedway is, again, dubbed as Hot Atlanta, a hot, slick surface, which is always very abrasive on these race cars. Not that smooth. You're bouncing around a little bit when you're fighting through there, which can offset these cars at times. But let's talk some track facts about the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Located in Hampton, Georgia, has a capacity crowd of 99,000. It is owned and operated by the Speedway Motorsports Incorporated. Broke ground back in 1958, opened 2 years later in July of 1960 for a construction cost at that time of $1.8 million. Tracks nowadays, I mean, that's like $300 million, obviously with the currency changes there. But the track itself, 1.54 miles in length. I feel betrayed that it's not an official intermediate cookie cutter track. 1.54 miles in length, 24 degrees in the corners, same as Charlotte, but a little bit wider, and 5 degrees on the straights.
Yeah, and even if we do, I think we should consider this a cookie cutter, but by no means is this a normal cookie cutter. This track is wide, rough, and fast. The best type of racetrack there can be is Atlanta. You get the best type of racing. We saw this is a lot of NASCAR drivers' favorite racetrack simply for the reason you get such fast racing, but it's not a super speedway, as you would say. You still have to drive your car around here with a lot of aggressiveness, but the drivers certainly do not get too far away from each other, as we've seen on these past restarts. Dominic Dieball is going to lead them down with Damon Gilbert in second. 2 cars we've seen in the top 3 all night. Certainly expect to see these guys get a little bit of a gap between the 3rd and 4th cars in the restart. They've just been lightning fast all night. They've certainly conquered Hot Atlanta so far tonight, Evan.
62 laps in, and they're so far so good for a lot of these guys. On the flip side, we've had a lot of drivers that have been in a few wrecks already to this point. Still a long way to go, though, as we close in about 13 laps shy of halfway. This next time by, again, going to be the 15 car in control of this field, getting set for yet another restart. Field is through 3 and 4. Green flag now flies for the flag stand. Back underway we go, and gone is Dominic Dieball. Single file behind him. Give it to David Wing. will slide in third position. Damon Gilbert obviously able to hang on to second, and single file all the way through to about seventh. You got Scott Bailey putting the move on Joel Wood.
Yeah, Joel Wood gets past there, so Joel Wood is already having a rough night, but still up there in the top 10 fighting. Has certainly had his fair share of close calls, and he's getting passed by the odious Scott Bailey, like you said. And right now, once again, we see the top 10 get all spread out. First battle on the racetrack is pretty deep in the field. You're going to have to go back to the full set of Sal Carney and Dylan Ackert racing for it right now. That's the 99 machine. Actually, that's Charles Starks and Sal Carney, so certainly Sal trying to find his way back to his field. He had a bad pit stop last time we saw him come down. As Sal will get clear of Charles Starks there, so move him back up to 12. Sal Carney, though, struggling early in this race.
Was 12th fastest in practice, and Petey picked up about 2/10 from practice to qualifying. Started up front and may have been batting above his batting average because slowly sliding back to just outside of the top 10. I want to see what Nathan Sedlak can do. Qualified 5th, Petey. You saw, got pile driven into the wall by the 00 after a right cap and right in front of them. Got cycled back in a quick fix, going to the outside as that 35 comes down on that 39 car, cutting it close. And he's trying hard to get back up through this field. This all around 14, 39 drives it in, gives a little bit of a nudge to that 35 car. They're playing at high speeds, bobbled by a Cardi hanging on to it, but close quarters racing for 14.
That could have got really bad there. Card did not hang on. Nathan Sedlak through the 13th, so definitely some odd battling going on here early. He's going to try to get by Martin Porter. Martin Porter having a good night here tonight, up in 12th right now. But he has trouble in the mirror. Here comes Nathan Sedlak, who has a good machine so far tonight. We expect to see him get back up to this front core, as the battling in front of him, though, is heating up between the 60 machine, that being the number 2 of Chad Wilson on his inside. So watching that shape up. And here comes the CORA CEO machine, the 00 of James Brown. James Brown going to try to make a pass on Patrick Scahill, as we see some intense battling going on here right now, as these guys are starting to get some wear on their tires.
Battle for the lead about 3 laps into this one. The 68 of Damon Gilbert working on the bottom lane, trying to get around Dominic Dieball. Nearly got it the last time by. 15 was able to keep a nose on the right rear of that 68 when they cycled out of 4, and therefore was able to pull back up alongside Damon. Back side by side at it again. Advantage to the 68 at the stripe. Working on the bottom lane, though. 15's got the preferred spot, and give it to Damon Gilbert. Back to the top spot. 15 comes back at him at a quarter number 2. Right back to the bottom. Side by side once again, all battling for the top position. Now that Gilbert's got the preferred lane, though, adios, he's gone. The quick lane race at entry, PD. Saw that one coming out in clean air, which he loves, and pulling away a great night so far for that 68 Ford.
Damon Gilbert, always the fastest Ford, as we hit on earlier, and tonight is no different. Battle for 5th. Daniel E. Miller on 2 tires, William Roberts on 4. The 2 tires are seeming to work so far, though, and the tires are probably equal at this point, so give it to the 09 machine of Daniel Miller. He is clear, and William Roberts now has more trouble. Scott Bailey's there, and Scott Bailey has had a really consistent run with these nationwide cars. You saw him in the top 10 every week during this stint, and tonight is no different, as William Roberts is going to lose the 5th position right now to Scott Bailey, so that moves him back to 6th. He's safe, though, because Joel Wood's quite a little ways back, and speaking of quite a little ways back, we have a nice battle for him right here between James Brown and Patrick Scahill. This is the battle for 9th. It's been going on for 2 laps. Scahill gets loose. Give it to James Brown, almost 3 wide, and that leaves a hole open for the number 35 machine of Sedlak. Nathan Sedlak battling with Patrick Scahill. Sedlak hits the apron and gets loose. These guys trying to find a way back to the front. We thought that Sedlak was going to be up there and battle for the win tonight. He still could, but he has to get by these cars right now.
Side by side up inside the top 5 for a moment. 20 car crossover to the bottom goes Dominic Dieball. After David Wink takes that spot, he'll tuck back in line as there's no more room there. Gets up on front of the nose of the Daniel Miller entry. Scott Bailey just behind them. They were side by side, single filing out for a moment. Back through the pack here. We got a lot of side by side coming out of 4.
Dominic Dieball on the grass of the round. He saves it. He hangs on. He's going to lose a ton of positions, though. Great save by the Dieball machine, but he got turned dead. 90-degree angle, saved it somehow in the grass. As he is losing more and more spots, he's going to fall back to basically the last car in the lead lap, folks. Tough break for the 15 machine of Dominic Dieball.
Yeah, he just slid up high, followed that 20 machine all the way to the fence. and got turned off in the nose of the 09 car. Did a great job, though, of locking it up, not going flying down pit road, receiving a penalty. Just kept it through the grass, blended back up to the apron to the point where he didn't come up in front of traffic. And a very successful job is going to allow Dominic to stay in this race, Petey, but that one get a sting as he loses a lot of time in that exchange. We have a huge battle going on around P27, a huge pack of cars in 25th. We also got a huge set of cars all the way from like 9th through to like 17th position, Petey. Side by side, 2 wide, 3 wide, and all these guys going at it on this green flag stretch.
Yeah, Nicholas Doucette, that 16th car right now. Ryan Borges just completely disappeared from the racetrack. I hope he reappears eventually, but he is gone. He's been gone for a while now. The other drivers are warning him. Nicholas Doucette, though, trying to find his way at the back. He got a penalty that he didn't like, and now he's going to push that 30 car on the outside. William Roberts must have had a moment because he's fallen back far now. Is Nicholas Doucette, one of the fastest cars of the night, probably the second to Damon Gilbert. Caution out.
Oh, trouble out of 4.
Trouble out of 4. It's the double O of James Brown. James Brown is around. It's a single car wreck. It looks as though he just got tight in the corner and got contact with the 29. That sent him around.
A couple other guys around the 29 of Dylan Ackert is in the outside wall. The 39 of Salicardi also involved. Replay going up now. 00 just got tight, slid up in front of the 29, Petey, got turned around. Salicardi gets into the 00 and then gets hit by the 88. And it's Salicardi, one of the, our pole sitter tonight, rather, Petey, gets knocked up into the fence, hits the 29 of Dylan Ackert. Those two cars get tangled up and end up in the outside wall. Caution is out, and more trouble for the Vortex Storm gang.
Ryan Borges has fell through. He lost his connection. He's no longer in this field. Borges is out now, basically. He's going to be multiple laps down by the time he can get back in here. Tough break. Now, this league does have a rule where you can get as many wave rounds as needed to get back on the lead lap under one caution period. We saw that come into play with Don Stevenson last week. And if he can get back in here quick enough, that could benefit him, Evan.
Yeah, he received it throughput fall to an unacceptable level, so he has dropped the connection from the sim. And again, almost a similar situation what we saw. I mean, you talked about it past Don Stevenson. Needs to get back in here as soon as possible. There's a lot of different things. It could be anywhere from his computer shutting off on him to a internet issue to just a quick blip and, you know, back online, tries to get back in. We will keep an eye to let everybody know when Ryan Borges will attempt to get back out on track there. 3 laps down already in that 32 car, dead last in the field as we sit right now. Leaders down pit road led by Damon Gilbert. Once again, 4 tire stop for him. Looks like he's not going to be the first one off, though. Drag race with the 88 of Churchma. Oh, good thing that the 15 machine faded through each other there. Damon Gilbert going to be the first one off on 4 fresh tires. Churchma, 2 tires, Petey. Going to exit in P2. That plus the fact that he overshot his stall. He could be leading if it wasn't for that small mistake, but more strategy coming into play.
Yeah, we saw the 54 Brandon Monsalves Cruz take 2 tires, help him up to 10th, I believe. Dustin Lowndes also took 2 tires, and he's right behind Brandon Monsalves, so some more strategy from the 54 and 40 camp. 54, I believe, has to be the most strategic driver in this league. Every week we see him do something creative to get up front. It's always exciting to watch Brandon Monsalves. But right now, we have a lead staying the same with Damon Gilbert's going to be leading this thing. Michael Churchma is in second, so Michael Churchma is going to be trying to hang on here.
Tim Johnstone bringing it down pit road. We got a couple of guys some laps down that are going to be coming back in for more service. James Brown staying out. He's going to be able to get to the tail end of the lead lap to get a wave round when white flag comes out. Behind him is Damon Gilbert, who will retain the race lead. Ryan Borges has now reconnected to the sim, and he's going to be back on track, and we'll have multiple laps down, though, that he really needs to get back up and going if he wants to be able to get back going through here and to be able to obviously get back to a position that he would be able to contend for a top finish tonight. Borges, a top 10 car, PD all race long, was only moving forward until he got those connection issues.
Yeah, speaking of moving forward, Nicholas Doucette back at the 13th, but trying to keep track of his chart back to the front, so Doucette is going to be the number 13 machine on this restart, and certainly one of the faster cars. We saw him contend with Damon Gilbert and the 15 Dominic Dyball. with that ball having his problems, the ball is way deep in the field now. That ball is 28 actually, and Doucette's now 13. So Nicholas Doucette, I'm sure, wants to get back up there and give Damon Gilbert another run for his money. But right now, it's just going to have to come down to Damon Gilbert and Michael Churchma. Churchma, though, has had a great run these B cars in Michigan. We saw him, I think he finished 4th, and he almost had a chance to win that race. Same with 3rd Scott Bailey. Scott Bailey's also had a wonderful job in this B car. I was talking about it earlier. He's been able to hang on for a bunch of top 10s and running good so far. It's just been great to watch. As by the way, the 2 cars with 2 tires will round out in 4th and 5th. So Brandon Monsivice and Dustin Williams will be 4th and 5th on 2 tires. We'll get ready for another restart of them.
Borges has reconnected. Looks like it's going to be about 4, maybe 5 laps down. He's back out on track in 32nd out of 32 cars. So tough break for Borges. Going to obviously want a quick caution so he can get wave rounds, get back to the lead lap, and then start moving his way back up and through the field. And he is trying to confirm with race control at the moment what the exact procedure is. So I believe is in race control is confirming that if you can get back in 3 laps or less, then you're able to get him back, and he was able to do so. So he will be getting those wave rounds speeding over not in a green flag condition, so he'll have to wait to the next yellow before he gets the opportunity to be able to get back out there on track. And that cuts this race down to like a 70-lap dash for him to go from the back to the front. Obviously not going to get the finish that he wants, and the struggles, the bad luck for the Vortex and Storm Gang continue. They do have 2 representatives up at the top. We got Michael Churchma in 2nd and David Wink in 6th. Meanwhile, green flag now back in the air. Damon Gilbert on the accelerator, and to the inside goes Scott Bailey from 3rd. Quick challenge on the inside of Michael Churchma. Nothing going to come from that. The 88 car going to be able to get 2nd. The 08 in 3rd. Monsivice in P4, and side by side for 5th.
Yeah, that's between Dustin Loynes and David Wink. Loynes going to get cleared really quick. Ellie the door with Chad Wilson in the 2. But looking back to the field, there's a big hornet's nest here, starting with the 30 of William Roberts. Right underneath him is Gordon Burke in the 37, and Sedlick's in the middle of that mix along with Doucette. We see a bunch of cars in here, a bunch of contenders in here. So certainly a big pack we want to keep an eye on here. Is the first battle on the racetrack, though, will be between Monsivice and the 40 of Dustin Loynes, and them are the 2 two-tire cars, so we should watch that one because both of them obviously were having trouble before the caution came out and did a little strategy here, and they're probably holding up David Wenck right now. Wenck probably wants to lay around these 2 two-tire cars.
Monsivice on the bottom, he's leaning on the apron. It's not working because that back end very unstable when he does that. The 20 is able to get through the 2 car. Chad Wilson is going to go to the outside. They're too wide for a lot of roads from there on back. A lot is going on. Borges has returned to the racetrack right now, but still, I mean, a lot of battling. But oh, contact, 79 car, gonna get turned around. Joe Wood hard in the outside wall. He comes back down, collects another car, and wrecking down the back. The 95 involved, the 24 of Everett Lane. Dale Adkins with heavy damage in that caution. Gonna go back out on the racetrack after Joel Wood got turned. He tried to go to the 8, there was the 8 car up high, Petey, and I think Joel Wood initiated that contact because he tried to go high and pass the 37 to Gordon Berkey, and he just turned right across the nose of the 8 car into the fence.
Yeah, and he did not need that happen at all, so Joel Wood's tough night continues on. One guy who this will benefit is Ryan Borges, who I believe will be getting his laps back under this caution, if I understand the rule correctly, so definitely beneficial to the 32 camp. Vortex still has all their cars that started this race in contention, with obviously we've well covered the issues by Don Stevenson so far. And if they do give him his laps back, that will put all the vehicles on the lead lap with the exception of Tim D. John Stone. So we've seen a really competitive race here so far tonight from Atlanta.
We were just on pit road the last time by, so don't expect any of our leaders to come down, and we are past the halfway point in this race now. Within 70 to go, going to step away for another commercial break. You're watching the CORA Championship Online Racing Association, the Sunday Money Series, Season 4 on LSR TV. More action from Hotlanta coming up. Stay tuned. By the way, it on. On the that they're seeing. Eight. From the this is it's for good. Pretty.
We are delighted to announce that the new Red Bull Air Race World Championship will take to the air and will be back in 2014.
Back.
There we have it, 2014, ladies and gentlemen.
Back live at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Green flag just now, back out in the air. Damon Gilbert still in control of this field. Have had a couple of guys that have had some issues. Chad Wilson caught the fence earlier on, and we got another car in the wall there. Looks like the 50 of Dustin Lee just caught the fence. Big trouble for Tim Johnstone. He got turned around on the front straightaway about 2 laps ago, was stopped and was slow on the bottom after I believe he was supposed to actually let the field go by, had to park on the restart on the bottom of the track, everybody go by, then he had to accelerate, get back up to speed to avoid giving himself and other drivers black flags. Believe that worked as he actually had his black flag clear. Meanwhile, PD, Ryan Borges now only 1 lap down in a lucky dog spot after getting some waves.
Yeah, speaking of coming back to the field.
Oh, this 21 car's real slow. Jason Halverson, we got a wreck. The 21 got knocked up into the fence going through quarters 1 and 2. A huge net code. Got into the outside wall, came down, caught the 95 car, so damage on Dale Adkins. and Halverson turned around into the outside wall, gets back going, no caution, and
race
now
control
caution
goes
going to be thrown, yes, from the tower for those handful of incidents there. We're going to slow him back down. The pace car going to catch the field. There was a pretty wild couple of laps there, not necessarily the restart itself, but just a lot happened, a lot of guys bouncing off each other.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild restart, like you said there. A couple things to note that you may have missed under the previous caution. Nicholas Doucette and Nathan Sedlick have both found their way back to the field. They're 6th and 7th now, so two of the faster cars that had trouble earlier back up there. And Dominic Diebold still struggling back in 20th, so he's having a hard time to get his way back to this field. The lucky dog this caution will be Ryan Borges, so he'll be rejoining the lead lap. And Damon Gilbert is still leading this race by a safe margin.
Yeah, is tonight going to be the night that we see Damon Gilbert be able to break through and get the checkered flag finally after starting to really show what he's got these last few weeks. We've had Bark go to victory lane to start. Actually, look at his pit strategy. Gilbert stays out. Michael Churchma in from second. Sedlak goes down as well, and almost a split decision. Brandon Cruz-Mosavice is in, the 30 of William Roberts. Only a handful of guys, though, coming down. I don't know about that one for the 88. He's going to go way back after being a front row car.
Too many people stayed out for that one to work for him. Looks like we saw the Storm cars come down for the most part there. 35 of Sedlak and Michael Churchma. I do believe David Wenck did stay out, so must have been a little conflict in the Storm Motorsports chat, but this will shuffle things up. This will move Wenck up to 4th and Doucette up to 5th, so Doucette's almost back to the front of the field, Evan. Do you expect to see him give Damon Gilbert any sort of a challenge? Before he got sent to the back, he was the only one that seemed to be able to give him a challenge.
Well, we saw the 20 car be able to get up there via a strategy. Damon Gilbert hasn't had to do that to get up front. So I think the 68, by far and large, is the strongest car on track right now. Now, that doesn't mean anything on the fact that in racing, it's not always the fastest car that wins. You got a guy like Nick Doucette, a guy like Patrick Skyhill, some of these guys that are coming back up, especially Doucette after starting on the front row, who may not have the fastest car overall, but have the speed that if they can get a couple of cautions maybe to fall their way or be able to get some track position and, depending on if Damon Gilbert gets stuck behind some other cars, there's so many different factors that can go into it, can easily steal this race, which is why that although the 68 has led the majority of this race and he leads right now at about 67 laps to go, cannot get comfortable.
No, he cannot get comfortable here, as we are just noticing so many new factors join this race. Speaking of new factors joining the race, Ryan Borges did just get a wave around, so that'll give us 30 out of 32 cars at the start of the race on the lead lap. All the cars still running. We have Dale Atkins and Tim Johnstone 2 laps down each, so really competitive, like I've said many times tonight, race here so far. The leaders, though, Scott Bailey and Damon Gilbert, both very fast with these nationwide cars, yet to see them break through. It could be the night for either of them. I mean, I'm sure they would love to get it done. They've both ran the top 5 so far in these stints, especially Damon Gilbert. I remember in Michigan, he was the only one who could contend with the Vortex cars, and I believe he finished 3rd, and it was just a great run for his team. He said he had something special over the 1.5 milers coming up. Did not quite have the run he wanted last week, but tonight he has just put a show on, and if he can hang on for the last third of this race, he's good to go. I mean,
Gonna make a quick note, coming up in 1 week's time, our final Sunday out with the CORA Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series on the 2014 campaign on December the 21st. We go racing at 8 o'clock Eastern for round 9. Back once again, so back-to-back races at tracks we've already visited. We return to the Irish Hills of Michigan at the Michigan International Speedway for round 9, our first race in the Dallara Indy Cars. Indy Cars, a 2-mile track. That one's going to be interesting nonetheless.
remember, they don't use the new DW12. They use the old Indy car, so it should be fun to watch. I don't know if you guys ever ran it, but the old Indy car in Michigan's wide open, double file racing. If someone gets a little bit loose, the whole field's going to pile up in a big accident. It's always fun to watch there from Michigan, and I cannot wait to watch these CORA guys go at it. I mean, you're talking about going from driving a moving boat to a airplane with wheels.
Oh, what? A moving boat with versus an airplane with wheels. Is that our analogy that we're rolling with?
I like the analogy. These are big, heavy cars, but they have big motors, don't get me wrong, but you're going to a car that's going to be going 220 miles an hour, and basically a little bump could send you airborne with the IndyCar.
Well, okay. Interesting. I like it. We're keeping it fresh, and it's going to be another restart. Let's see if we get any more excitement and or drama coming up on this one, because the pace car getting out of the way for Damon Gilbert. Green flag going back in the air once again underway, and the 40 trying to challenge. How about Dustin Loynes, PD, a top 3 car right now? Can't get to the inside. No, he does. Great run getting up through the gears. He's going to get alongside Scott Bailey. That's for second.
Yeah, so Dustin Loynes at 2 tire calls really working out for that machine. Loynes through to second. Give it to Loynes here as the number 08 of Scott Bailey is going to try to block Doucette. Doucette battling for third here once again. We saw him be a dominant car early, get the penalty, work his way through his field. And hello, Mr. Scott Bailey, here I am. Nicholas Doucette's going to battle for third. But right behind them, we have a side-by-side battle between the 02 of the 20 of David Wenk and the 02 of Mitchell Raves, reverse numbers right there. So Mitchell Raves has been doing well with the 2-star strategy. Also, as we just see some intense racing through the field once again on these restarts. These restarts tonight have been very great action, and they've been fun to watch. Right behind them, as that battle cools down a little bit, we see the 00 of James Brown and Patrick Hill battle. It seems like they've been together all night, and there's just a big hornet's nest, as we like to say. I've been back there. This is going to be exciting.
And a lot still going on side by side on each other's door. Contact, the 39, Sal and Carty going at it hard against the 8 of Martin Porter. They rubbed doors when they went into the quarter. It was the 39 who got sideways, 8 still hanging on top, and side by side behind them, Dylan Acker side by side with the 88 car of Michael Churchma, who is on fresh tire speed. He's trying to bowl his way through the field. He'll get clear of the 29 car. Does he make it 3-1? They're still right neck and neck in front of him. Can't get through. He's going to tuck up behind Salicardi, trying to find a way through, but he's kind of stuck behind it as the 39 and the 8 continue to duke it out.
Yeah, so the pole setter, who's not quite the night he imagined after he won the pole, is right now battling for that 10th position with Martin Porter. He at least wants to get top 10 out of this pole run. I mean, he doesn't think he has the car to be up there battling for the win right now, but he's got to do with Michael Churchman. Churchman right there, a car with the unpreferred line. Actually, the high line seemed to work a lot better tonight than the low line, although they've been about equal with a lot of side-by-side racing we've seen tonight. And that battle is simmering down, and there's a change for third, actually. Nicholas Doucette is through the third. The reason this is significant is because we think he has the best shot to get around the 68 Damon Gilbert. He's been, tonight, before he got the penalties, he's the only one who could hang with him, so we're trying to watch that. Although Scott Bailey, one of our favorite drivers up here we like to watch, is going to try to make a move on him, so Scott certainly trying to get around Nicholas Doucette to try to give another shot at Damon Gilbert.
He's going to be able to close in, and again, battling still going around all through this field. Dustin Loynes finds himself about 5 car lengths off at a 68. Doucette not too far back from there. David Wenk has Mitchell Reeves all over his back bumper. Those cars are 5th and 6th position right now and tucked up underneath each other. But for the most part, single file. Salicardi still finds himself in battle, PD. He was just fighting on the inside. Now he's fighting on the outside, trying to make a move on Patrick Scotthill. That's for 9th place.
Yeah, and trying to make that move there on Patrick there. That has not quite worked for him yet. Patrick Hill's having a great night tonight, and he's battling with the 39 of Salicardi here. And we have some great racing going on, Evan, as Michael Churchman is going to try to make a move.
And to the inside he goes on that 60 car. 39 got it done up high. The 88 trying to get it done down low. Going to make that a side-by-side battle. 60 car with a good run off the quarter. Having that run is going to have the advantage at the start-finish line as they run right there. But again, it's just battling on the bottom up high. Everybody trying to do whatever they can to get through. I do think that high side, though, is clearly better, PD, because Accardi made quick work, and it's Churchma who's stuck, can't get around the 60 machine. Should have tried to wait and go high, I would think, because he's stuck still nose-to-nose right now with Scotthill. And now in 3 and 4, he'll finally get that advantage, slide up through and clear, and it's going to be Dominic Dieball, the next car, trying to make a move. That 60 is in big trouble, so on him back.
Dominic Dieball giving a very valiant effort trying to make his way back to the field after we saw him make the save of the night, I think. He's going to get through to 12th. Dominic has not a lot of time, and he wants to get back up there. He was one of the big challengers of Damon Gilbert early. Speaking of good battles on the racetrack, the 0-2 of Mitchell Reeves and David Wenk has finally ended Wenk through to 5th as he is going to try to get back up to this battle. I shouldn't say battle. The top 4 have really spread themselves out here. So certainly some spread out racing started. The 8 cars in the wall. Hard in the wall is Martin Porter. Porter is still in the wall. He's saving it. He turns it in the wall harder, and he hangs on, but that is a tough break as he's getting passed by a lot of cars. And oh, the 30 car of William Roberts is going to get on the apron trying to miss it, and he saves it. A big checkup there.
Oh, big checkup. The 00, the 39. They're bouncing off the wall all over the place here.
Yeah, this is just a big turn of events, Evan, as we see cars beating the banger. Oh, this is tight.
Still too on as everybody tried to cycle around these guys that were all bouncing off the fence and stuff. 3 wide now. Martin Porter is and the 3 in the middle. The 79 to the bottom through the grass. Goes Joel Wood through the grass again, trying to get through, and he passed 3 cars in the grass that time.
Wow. Joel Wood trying to come back through the field. We saw him have some trouble not too long ago in his, probably my favorite paint scheme out here is the little camouflage 79 orange black. He's going to get the replay is up on him making his amazing pass right there. And all these close calls have really simmered down the battling on the racetrack. First battle on the racetrack will be Salicardi in James Brown. That's for the 8th position. Salicardi starting to make another charge. Speaking of making another charge, the 15 of Dominic Dieball is back up in the top 10. If he can find a way around these two, he'll be in 8th.
The 09, PD, that's Daniel Miller. He just slid up and hit Mitchell Reeves. That was for 6th spot. Reeves got hit right in the left rear, so good thing we don't have tire rubs. Or that 02 machine may be in the fence right now. They keep it going, but that was some contact just in front of that battle.
Yeah, and we're watching the 39 machine right now of Salicardi finally get clear of James Brown, but that's leaving the door open for Dominic Dieball. Dominic, like we said, had a car for Damon Gilbert until he got into a wreck earlier. I believe it was with the Accardi machine. Can't quite remember, though. I believe it was with 39, though. As he's going to try to ironically find his way by the Accardi machine, as Michael Churchman cannot find a way around James Brown, so that's going to hurt his odds as that happens right behind them. But this is going to be the first battle on the racetrack as it sits right now. Salicardi versus Dominic Dieball. Dieball needs to find a way around him quick, Evan.
Hey, the 15 machine might be blowing up soon. We're going on board. He's been all over somebody's back bumper pretty much the whole night. Was on the back bumper to the 39 there, made a move to the inside, got a little bit too tight, and the 39 is able to get back clear. 00 just behind them, James Brown, who's coming off of a couple of solid runs, PD top 10 car. Great to see that for that Lafarge Chevrolet as he sits 10th right now. Behind them, though, Churchman, one of the guys that's trying to get back up through this field after making that interesting pit stop strategy call from a number P2 back again, all the way back at a 20th spot or so, has picked up and is trying to get back to a top 10 running spot right now. But not only does he have to pass the guys in front of them, got to keep an eye because they're fighting amongst themselves as well. Don't want to stick a nose in on somebody who's not checking their mirrors because they're trying to get to the inside of the guy in front of them and end up at a fence, because that can happen very quickly. So the 88 trying to get through. He's going to muscle his way to the inside, side by side for 10.
We just had a tight battle for 3rd. Scott Bailey almost lost it, hung on. Bailey was underneath the 51 Doucette, getting ready to pass him for 3rd. Doucette made a great move down low, hit him in the door, and that got the 08 loose. And speaking of hitting something, Doucette hits the wall. That leaves the door open for the 20 of David Wenck. Wenck wants a podium position, and he gets it from Doucette. Doucette following back a little bit on his more worn tires than these leaders. So here comes David Wenck through to 3rd. That's a change position, and Scott Bailey's coming right back after Doucette. Doucette falling backwards.
Side by side now for 10th, Michael Churchman, who got to the inside of James Brown, has the advantage at the start, finish line. Going to get clear now. Corners through 1 and 2, with the 88 machine going to pull away and now set his sights on the 88, or rather the 15 machine in front of him. Dominic Dieball and the 39 of Salicardi is where the 88 is going to try to put his machine. We have the 51 car of Nick Doucette, who stepping that thing up the hill just a little bit. Trying to get some grip, and the 08 of Scott Bailey, PD, open up the door for him to the inside. Goes Bailey. This would be a battle for 4th position. Bottom lane, though, not the preferred spot. I would expect Doucette to be able to hang on to it here. He'll get thrown off a 2, and he does so.
And that will give the position to Nicholas Doucette for now. Certainly not as fast, though, as Scott Bailey. Scott Bailey's had a great car all night for this whole little stint we had with the B cars. I mean, a lot of these guys, you have to think, Evan, are not so great with the IndyCar, and as we see this battle heat up, Scott Bailey, I'm sure a lot of these guys want to get a top 5 or possibly a win before they go to the IndyCar to a little bit of a cushion, because they know they're not the greatest in IndyCar, Evan, as this battle is still going on.
Yeah, the difference in vehicles is really going to get cranked up at 1 week's time. We've gone from the truck to the B car, which are kind of similar in some ways. They're both the NASCAR stock cars, but I mean, they're both relatively identical in speed. Trucks I prefer over the B car. These cars are such momentum-based vehicles, but I mean, the Indy car is going to be something completely different that we're going to see in 1 week's time. Just had a battle with the 15 and Dominic Dieball, who it is the 88, who's actually the one that's on the attack. Again, I said Churchman's going to try to close in on Dieball and Accardi. He did so, got to the outside. 15 going to be able to get the defense going on the bottom. Slides up in front of Michael Churchman at a quarter number 4. Churchman with the crossover now back to the bottom. This battle for P9, where the 88 car trying to hang on down low. The 15, though, I think is going to be able to get it back on the high side. The 88's faster, Petey. He just needs to be able to get himself in a position to complete that pass, which he's having trouble doing so. Went to the high side, didn't work. Went to the bottom side, didn't work. Has to reevaluate how he's going to get around him.
A little more relevant battle. 51, Nick Doucette. 02, Mitchell Reeves battling for 5th. Nick Doucette on the outside, Reeves on the inside. This is for 5th. Waiting in the wings is the number 09 of Daniel Miller. It looks as though Doucette's car has just not had the long run speed, and Doucette's going to get passed here by Mitchell Reeves, trying not to lose it, but I think in the end he will not be able to prevail because his car just doesn't seem to have the long run speed he needs, although he's hanging tough in that preferred outside lane. Doing all this battling, though, is letting Sal Accardi and Michael Churchman catch up as that battle heats up. We have 2 battles right close to each other. The first one's Doucette and Reeves. The second one is Churchman and Accardi as they're getting close to each other, Evan.
It'll be the first time tonight that we've seen people getting physical in this race. They started it in the opening portions of the race and continue to battle hard. Just in front of them, still going at it, is Doucette and that 02 as they single file out with Sal Accardi and the 88 of Churchman are single file behind this battle that features the 09 car, Daniel Miller, trying to place. But look at the run by Michael Churchman to the bottom, gets the door shut on the 09 rather. Putting the block on Michael Churchman, Petey, and now to the inside goes Daniel Miller. He's not giving anything to anybody. To the bottom of Doucette, here comes Churchman back to the back bumper, going to pay him a visit.
Yeah, and Churchman is an aggressive driver, as we know, and he's certainly going to want to get after that position. So here goes Churchman. He's going to want to get it from him. Can he get it, though? Doucette's falling back fast. This is tough for the 51 crew last week's winner. Does not have the speed he needs tonight. Tough break for the young gun, but I'm sure he'll be fine in the Indy car as he is being passed. New battle, though, the 09 of Daniel Miller and Michael Churchman. Churchman is clear. Churchman's a rocket ship right now. He went from 8th to 6th in just 1 lap, and now he has a sight set on 5th. If we get another caution here, I think Churchman could give the leader a challenge.
Still a lot of fighting going on. Churchman still -4 to where he was when he entered pit road from 2nd position. Does it continue to work? 02, huge check up off the corner for Mitchell Reeves. Just as Churchman went to go to the bottom, look at Sal Accardi, the 39, splits 3 lanes to the bottom to pick up 2 spots. Now he tries to slide high. 09 contact, 3 wide as the 88 goes down low. 3 wide and 2 wide and a quarter number 4. Advantage to Michael Churchman after Sal Accardi did not lift and split about 3 guys, Petey. Nearly took out the 09. Now it's the 35 of Sedlak battling back down low. This is not over yet.
Yes, it appears that Sal Accardi's kryptonite was the brakes there, so that did not work out too well for him, although right now we see him get passed by, where did he come from? Nathan Sedlak. He wasn't even involved in this battle. Same with George Bark.
Well, more 3 wide.
Oh, 3 wide. George Bark has coming back to this field. This is amazing. I never thought we'd see him up here yet again tonight, but here he is. George Bark in 9th now. Bark with a great comeback on the night, and this pack just got huge. It started with a battle for 5th and 6th, and it's turned into a battle from 5th through 14th as now. Here comes Churchman around the 02, who got tight off the corner. Give it to Churchman, and Sedlak's going to follow through. The Vortex boys are not done yet. They want to make sure they have their one last shot at this race, Evan.
Mitchell Reeves will have to slide in behind both of them. Side by side, Nick Doucette and Dominic Dieball. George Bark trying to get up to Sal Accardi after he gently got into the side of the 09 of Daniel Miller. The 09 went up the hill, had to back out of it, so he didn't take out the 3rd car in that 3-wide battle. That has since slowing, and he actually held up the 51 of Doucette. Doucette was just fighting with Dieball. Dieball on the bottom, and Nick Doucette got caught behind the 09, so he'll slide back 1 spot. Now more side by side in front of them. Mitchell Reeves trying to get around the 39 car of Sal Accardi. George Bark trying to do the same. Following on the outside, had the opportunity to maybe think about 3 wide, but the outside lane working. 02 Reeves is clear. George Bark now trying to get clear. These guys going for 8th, and now we got a yellow. Caution flag, trouble on the front straightaway. Jason Halverson, the 21 Motorcraft Ford, is turned around. He slid up, looks like, and just drove the 29 into the fence with him. After that car got tight, that's contact with Dylan Ackert, PD. And you thought that battle was exciting. We're going to group them up now within 25 to go. This is a completely different race now.
Hard hit there. Man, that was just vicious, but in a more relevant term, this changes everything, folks. I mean, I think we're going to have some new contenders invited into this. Speaking of contenders, Ryan Borders went from 30th to 18th, so he still has a shot at this, I think, with 25 laps to go. Really, anyone has a shot at this. We're going to have more pit stops here. And Damon Gilbert thought he was going to walk away and starting to, just put the car in cruise control. He's going to have to put it back into gear. And no, he still has a battle on his hands because we are getting ready for more pit stops, Evan. The top three are going to be Gilbert, Loynes, and Wenck. And it's going to be interesting on pit road. Will we see strategy and what will it be?
We're going to find out possible final pit stops of the night and a possible race-deciding move. Coming up as our leaders going to come down pit road, led by Damon Gilbert. Behind him, Dustin Loynes and David Wenck. Both of those cars qualified 13th and 17th respectively, so I don't think Gilbert's going to have much of a challenge off of pit road unless he either makes a mistake or the opposing drivers that are going to do a different tire strategy than him. Nice and easy into the stall goes the number 68 of Damon Gilbert. Right side tires going up on his Ford race control, going over the incident. 50 car overdriving his pit stall entry just a little bit. That's the Dustin Lee machine. Going to be 4 tires for Damon Gilbert. Off and away. Does anybody challenge with a different strategy? The 40 machine going to give him a fight. It is going to be the 15 Dominique Dyball, PD. Comes down pit road. 2 tires only. Daniel Miller in the 09 car right now, back out on pit road, missed his stall. So Miller's going to be forced back down pit road, but Dominique Dyball pulls the call. Dustin Loynes in the 40 car going to come out with a 4-tire stop just behind the 68 of Damon Gilbert, PD. But what a tough break for the 09 of Daniel Miller. Had a great run going, was a top 10 car all race long, and came down pit road, so obviously has intentions of taking tires. Missed his stall, drove all the way through, is going to be having to come down this time by, going to cost him all of that track position that he worked so hard to get.
Now I'll turn the lead over to Dominic Dyball, followed by Damon Gilbert, Dustin Loynes, and Everett Lane with 2 tires. Same with Dustin Lee, and we actually saw a whole abundance of strategy back here, so this is going to really shake things up. And personally, I think this race just got put in the hands of Damon Gilbert. I think that all his contenders got trapped way behind the strategy, and I think this played really well in the favor of Damon Gilbert here, Evan.
Well, we're going to step away for the final time under racing conditions. It is going to be Dominic Dyball in control of this field. 2 tires on his Chevrolet from there on back. 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. Less than 20 to go nearly when we come back, and we'll get you set for this one, possibly a final restart. Within 20 to go, and this one still far from over. You're watching Sunday Money Racing from Atlanta. The exciting finish sure to be coming up on LSR TV. Stay tuned.
We are seconds away from the first green flag of the afternoon. This is snow, this is ice. Yes, we got 900 horsepower. You're going to see at the line, current reigning class champions. Are you guys ready for history? Now the clock is running. Off the first jump, now the crossover jump.
Back at it once again from Hotlanta, the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're tuned in to LSR TV's coverage of the CORA Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series, PD. Restart coming up with 22 laps to go, and we got a lone driver trying the strategy. Dominic Dyball in contention for this win. Made the call for 2 tires. He'll be the control car coming up on this next restart.
Yeah, as we get ready for the pace car to pull off here, this, if not the final, will be one of the last restarts. Come off of turn number 2, I believe. No, this is turn number 4, I'm sorry. As we get ready for another restart, pace car is Dominic Dieball, your leader. He takes off right away. Good restart for Dieball. Damon Gilbert, that is, did not go quite well as usual in second. He has not had the greatest restarts from second tonight, and that will shake through Dominic Dieball's favor. He's on 2 tires. He's not going to be that off the pace. Evan, this could get exciting.
Relatively calm inside the top 5 from there on back. Good luck. A lot of side-by-side, multiple rows deep. A huge hornet's nest of cars in 12th position. Side-by-side up inside the top 10 has the 02 of Mitchell Reeves battling side-by-side the 30 car. Going to get the better hand of that one. That's going to be William Roberts side-by-side in front of them. The 50 at Dustin Lee trying to get around Everett Lane. But the question is how fast and if Damon Gilbert can catch Dominic Dieball. Close it in quick now. The gap was 0.2 of a second. It's about 3 car lengths out of 2.
Yeah, Damon Gilbert certainly closing the fastest car all night. He doesn't want to be denied as we're going to just have 20 laps to go this time by. First side-by-side battle on the racetracks, the 08 of Scott Bailey and the 02 of Reeves. So Reeves trying to hang on. Mitchell had a good night tonight, but he's trying to hang on to that position as more battles are shaping up in front of them. And that next battle will be the 24 of Everett Lane and the 50 of Dustin Lee. 2 drivers trying the strategy. It might not work out for either of them, but since they're racing each other, it's going to... Dustin Lee goes to track hard on the wall for Lee. That did not definitely go the way he wanted to. That will give William Roberts a chance at Everett Lane.
Here we go for
as
the
there's
lead.
a battle for the lead.
Yeah, Damon Gilbert going to go down to the bottom there, PD, and he is gone. 15 car up on a high side, has nothing for him. Give it to Damon Gilbert at 19 laps to go. 15 going to battle back, though, uses that draft, gets up to the back bumper, but I don't expect him to be able to make much of a challenge. What about Dustin Loynes? 3rd place on 4 fresh tires. Has a shot at this one as well. 3rd right now, trying to get around to 15. Don't count him out of contention. Almost a dark horse tonight after starting 13th. Now we got trouble behind our leaders. Caution, gonna fly once again. Big trouble down at quarter number 3. We got a car slow in the middle of the track. Jason Halverson got into the back of about 2-3 cars on that. The 20, way off pace. David Wink is going to be the one that gets turned around, PD. Looks like just another one of those situations of somebody trying to get up. Oh, no, those are teammates.
Oh,
hate to see that. Oh, Damon Gilbert, or rather Nathan Sedlak, as you said, and David Wink, teammates, the Storm guys. You said it. 35 just got into him and hooked him.
Oh, man.
Hate to see that.
But, look at the way that everyone missed him so well. No one hit Wank. The 21 barely gave him a little tap in the bumper. Nothing he wouldn't see under normal racing conditions. I'm more impressed with the way everyone missed him than anything else there. Evan, that was just a great job. And I'm impressed with the nice little 360 Wank did there. He kept that car... He must just put the clutch and got going straight and slammed the gas because he did a great job doing that little 360 there. His car is still going to be competitive. It's just a matter if he can find enough positions. And one person who did want to see his caution was Damon Gilbert, who was getting ready to walk away from the field again. He's going to have to deal with trouble once again. Loynes is going to be right caught up with him, and Loynes, surprisingly tonight, is going to be one of the big contenders for the win here.
Yeah, it's going to put that 40 car on the back bumper of Damon Gilbert in the number 3 spot. 68 going to once again be the control car. But Dustin Loynes is going to have the ability that if he gets a decent start to be able to get through and clear a Dominic Dieball and end up at some clean track where he gets a short opportunity and not a lot of time to get the job done in attempting to pass Damon Gilbert for what may be this race win. William Roberts, Everett Lane, some other drivers that are up inside the top 5 right now that are still in contention depending on how this next restart will shake out. But it's going to be under 15 laps to go, so I have to mention a caution flag will end this race pretty much at lap 4 to go or any lower than that. As long as it's not Gilbert, he'll win it under yellow flag conditions as long as he can make it the scheduled 150 lap distance, no overtime, PD. So this restart may give us an opportunity for 1, possibly 2 more incidents. If they happen pretty close together, that would give us another restart here, at least 2 more possible if they wreck quickly. Obviously, we know that everybody's going to be battling for it. We were going 2-3 wide at the opening 25 laps. We were going 2-3 wide that time. Anything can happen if you see teammates wrecking.
Yeah, and just this event tonight has been beyond spectacular. You know, Evan, sometimes you have races overdrowned by green flag racing, sometimes you have races overdrowned by caution flags. This race has honestly had the perfect mix of both, and it's just given us what has been to be probably one of the best races they've had all season. I mean, they've had a great one in Michigan. Last week was a barn burner. It's been fun to watch, but this one has just been beyond spectacular, and we're going to see a great battle for the win here with William Roberts sitting there in fourth. I think he's going to have a good shot at it. I think he's a fast car all night. I believe that if he can get the right restart, he can get up there and take the win away from Damon Gilbert. Although we're late in this race, Evan, we always like to make picks. So I'm going to make my pick right now. Last time we made picks, you made the obvious pick, and this time I'm going to take it. I think Damon Gilbert's going to walk away with this one.
Want to make a quick update. Jason Halverson is going to receive an EOL penalty. Hit the 20 of David Wink a couple of times under caution flag conditions. So do expect that from a car that was top 10 earlier. He's back in 25th. Pick-wise, I have to go with the 68 because he's going to win it. I don't think anybody else has shown all race that they're fast enough, and nobody, even if they were faster, is close enough. So I think, no question, this is Damon Gilbert's race to lose.
This will be the first win for Ford in this nationwide segment, so I'm sure he wants to be the driver to do that, although this whole segment, I'm perfectly honest, he's been the only Ford in contention for any of these races. We get one to go on the restart. So Damon Gilbert is representing the Ford camp really well during the segment here, as we're going to get ready for the next segment with the Indy cars as we move forward.
Doubled up, lights off, going to be a restart coming up. I do believe it's going to be 14 laps to go as the field paces through quarters number 1 and 2. The billboards cast shadows on those turns as we roll out of 2 down the back straightaway. Going to let you know where everybody in the top 10 is running. Damon Gilbert is going to be control car. Dominic Dieball outside of the front row in second. Third place, Dustin Loynes, that's inside of row 2. Outside, 30 of William Roberts in fourth. Row 3, inside, Everett Lane in fifth. Sixth on the outside is Scott Bailey. Michael Churchma on the inside of row number 4 and 7th. Outside in 8th is Sal McCarty. And rounding out our top 10, the 5th row, going to be Mitchell Reeves down low, and Nick Doucette going to find himself up by the high side. They round out our field. Actually, I do believe that is some sort of a scoring error because I do see the 51 on a row with George Bark, which could be a little bit deeper back, but nonetheless, somewhere in that range, we get the idea. Pace car down and away, green flag, gets set to fly for the flag stand. Damon Gilbert in control, 1, 2, 3 seconds of hesitation. Green flag back in the air. We're underway and already side by side for second. Dustin Loynes has the advantage. He needs to clear Dominic Dieball, though, down low. If he wants to get to Gilbert, he'll get the job done.
The power move of that 40 of Loynes. Him and his bright blue-wheeled machine are going to have a shot here at Damon Gilbert, but he's going to have to hold up Dominic Dieball in the next corner, and Dieball certainly has the run. He's at the high side that time. It will be blocked by Dustin Loynes. Loynes will have his shot now as we are closing in on just 10 laps to go. Racing throughout the top 10 right now is very scarce as first battle is going to be between Scott Bailey and William Roberts. That's for 7th and 8th. Everything's pretty single file up front, although it's getting tight for second. Loynes and Dieball. Dieball is not giving up, but this time Damon Gilbert's not quite walking away like he has been before, as there's a new battle for 5th, Evan.
It is an absolute mosh pit through this whole field of 2, 3 wide. Too many battles to focus in on one of them. They're all pretty much outside of the top 10. 2 rows, 2 wide actually inside the top 10 right now. Side by side, the 24 car to the outside on the 88 of Churchman. Contact for that spot. Dominic Dieball was just on the inside of Dustin Loynes for second. Damon Gilbert trying to get away. He can't do it. The 40 car, PD, within 3 car lengths, coming to 11 to go. This one may not be over.
Where's his speed been all night? Dustin Loynes finally showing his guns, and he's showing them at the right time. Loynes is definitely the only competitor to Damon Gilbert, and he's still closing in on that machine. No one expected this. Dustin Loynes came to this race as a substantial dark horse. He qualified in 13th. He practiced in 9th. He's been around the top 10, but never did we think he would contend with Damon Gilbert throughout this whole event. But here he is now. He has a shot at Gilbert. It's just a question if he can get there. They're 3 wide back in the field. Everett Lane, Michael Churchma, and Mitchell Reeves.
Oh, we're leaning on each other's door. Nick Doucette contact with the 39 of Salicardi. They hang on as the 51 was stepping that thing up the hill trying to hang on to it. More side by side. The 30 in that mix with the 02 of Mitchell Reeves. The 08 of Scott Bailey had an opportunity to go down low again. All of this, though, is third on back. The battle right now for third is Everett Lane trying to get around Dominic Dieball. He wants a shot to challenge for this win. Can't get it on that time. The 15 going to get clear once again off the quarter, and Churchma PD finally getting back up to the top 5 spots after being second when he decided to pit. Don't think it's going to come to fruition because he's stuck behind that battle in front of him. He's got side-by-side a few rows deep behind them, and it's really our top 2 that are good by 0.8 of a second. The rest of the field looks like it's going to be decided if we stay green between Damon Gilbert, who is now starting to check out on at 40 at Dustin Loynes.
Yeah, Dustin Loynes gave a valiant effort, but right now, unless we see another caution, I believe Damon Gilbert's just going to walk away with it. Another update on a great night. Everett Lane in 4th right now. Look at the job he's done. He started deep in this field. He started 33rd, dead last, and now he's up here contending for top 5 position. So great job by Everett Lane, although he has trouble on the outside from William Roberts. Roberts is trying to battle for a position here up, and he qualified deep too. He qualified 24th, so a battle of unexpecteds here late in the top 5 as we still are having some great racing throughout this whole field. We've seen all night as Damon Gilbert's really checking out now. And this battle for 5th, though, is the best on the track right now, Evan.
And digging still to 24 and to 30 up inside of the top 5 positions right now. We're within 10 laps to go. Advantage on this battle going to go to William Roberts up high. Going to be able to get clear at that 24 of Everett Lane. And he's got company now, Michael Churchma to the outside. And those are 2 fast lane cars. Right behind Everett is his teammate Mitchell Reeves, who actually just got into it. That's going to slow the 0-2 up. That's going to allow the 88 of Churchma to get clear. The 39 of Salicardi on the high side. George Barr going to go to the middle. Just cut down and nearly took somebody out there. He came down and hit the 51 of Nick Doucette. Meanwhile, battle for 3rd coming up. The 30 of William Roberts still trying to dig. Defense being played by Dieball on the high side.
Well, that battle going on. Salicardi has not showed his speed all night, but he's finally coming back through this field. He's up there racing with Churchma, and Everett Lane's battle for 3rd continues on. Battles all over this track that are important. The most important right now is for 3rd as we have William Roberts racing with Dominic Dieball. This is close. Roberts contains the inside and Dieball contains the outside. It's just a matter of who wants more. They're going to lead.
Contact for 3rd,
Roberts
the 30
is around.
car.
Roberts
He's
is around. No, man, that was a tough break. No caution, though. We got it off the track, and that will give Everett Lane 3rd. It's
He's spinning again. The 30 car hung on to it, spinning again down pit road. Keeps it off the fence. That's going to penalize William Roberts, though, after starting in 24th, PD, a top 5 spot, was digging hard after Dominic Dieball was using the outside to his advantage to not let anybody by. Went down through the grass, no caution. Now it's Everett Lane to the inside, battling hard with the 15. Churchma swings wide to the high side. About 3-4 cars. Here comes George Bark as well, battling all of this for 3rd spot on back at 4 laps to go. It's old Damon Gilbert between him and Dustin Loynes. 68 has an advantage of over half a second over the 40 for P1 and 2, but this battle for 3rd, still hot and heavy, 5 cars in it now.
This is getting intense here, folks. We're getting ready for the end of the race. Dominic Dieball is clear for a moment. That'll make the battle for 4th. Everett Lane trying to have a career night. And oh man, they're getting tight behind them. This is just insanity. Can Michael Churchma hold off Everett Lane? Here we go. Churchma clear on the outside. Almost, not quite though. Everett Lane still giving his best valiant effort. He wants to hold on to his career night here tonight as he is rocking the 5th position. But George Bark wants to get part of it. Bark to the outside.
He's digging, can't quite get clear of the 24 yet, has half a car length of an advantage in that battle. Behind them, Mitchell Reeves, the 51 Nick Doucette, still trying to go. 24 pushes high, and it's going to be the fast lane guys now side by side for about P6. Single file, George Bark not done yet. PD top 5, he has 2 more spots that he can fight for. Michael Churchma and Dominic Dieball, the 42's been pushed around these last few races. Let's see if that Red Bull Chevy gets aggressive. Meanwhile, up front, Damon Gilbert with a bobble. It's only 0.2 of a second for the top spot.
Yeah, and that puts Dustin Loynes right in this battle. What does this happen? Here we go. Battle for the lead. White flag in the air. The flag man indicates one lap to go. Far from over. Dustin Loynes has a run. Can he get underneath Damon Gilbert? What a battle we are seeing right now. Work many other battles. We're going to focus on this one. Damon Gilbert has to hang on for 2 more corners. Is Loynes right there? We're going to send it to you, Evan.
The 40 looked low and he could not get the job done. It's 3 car lengths in the negative. The 40 with one last ditched effort drives it in hard to 3 and 4. Damon Gilbert gonna hug the white line, and that's it. 68 car after wrecking Michael Churchma hard in the inside wall. Your winner is Damon Gilbert after a late surge by Dustin Loynes by 1/10 of a second. give the checkered flag to the 68 Ford of Damon Gilbert. Meanwhile, took a peek back on that battle for third, Petey. It was Michael Churchma who was in that fight with contact at a quarter number 2 on the final lap. Got loose, hit on the brakes, and got hit by the 42 of George Bark. Turned into the inside wall. Going to be 30th spot for the 88 team.
Well, that has to hurt bad, as you'll see the replay on that. I mean, he fought the whole race. He was going to get top 5, and then that happened. That ended his night. Oh, what a heartbreaker there for Churchman, who had a great run all night, and that happened, Devin.
It's a rough one. One driver celebrating, the one that's burning it down on the front straightaway. Give the checkered flag in hand to Damon Gilbert, who wins tonight from Hotlanta in race 8 of the CORA Sunday Money Series Season 4 in a fixed setup race with a dominating performance and a beat-up race car that he's going to push to victory lane, where we will talk to him in moments time. So as he celebrates, final commercial break of the night. We'll come back post-race show coming up on LSR TV. We'll talk to hopefully our top 3 finishers and get you set for the next race coming up in 1 week's time with Indy cars out at the Michigan International Speedway for the final time on 2014. So a lot more to come up. You're watching from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Stay tuned to post-race show. Back live at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the CORA Championship Online Racehead Association Sunday Money Series for round 8 from Hotlanta in Atlanta, Georgia, the Atlanta Motor Speedway. After 150 laps, it has come to a close, and to get our post-race show kicked off, we're caught up on pit road with the driver of the number 15 machine. Going to be a P3 tonight for Dominic Dyball. Dominic, first off, congratulations on the solid finish here tonight. You started right where you finished, so that car was pretty consistent all night long, but it was a wild race. A lot of guys throwing some pit strategy into it. Very physical throughout this entire race as well. A lot of guys leaning on each other. How did you get that dominator to third?
Wow, it was, especially after hitting that wall and dropping all the way back, it was a rough time coming back through traffic. It was a traffic jam, but oh my. I got to give a shout out to the my crew chief and everybody who made this happen. Thank you.
Going to be another P3 for you here again tonight, and still looking to get that thing in victory lane so far this season, Dom. It's, again, another solid finish, as you've almost become accustomed to here. Obviously, consistent finishes are good for momentum rolling forward. We got one race left in 2014 before we take a little bit of a break and we come back at it. Tonight, your first top 5, your second top 10. You're going to use this momentum and go out there. The Indy cars at Michigan, completely different than the stock cars we've been running so far. What are your thoughts into that one?
I'm going to give it my best. Last year I did pretty good in the Indy cars, so I'm looking for another great season this year, and I'm going to give it my best, as I said.
But we look forward to seeing what that Wood Wrench Motorsports machine can do. Don, before we let you go tonight, again, thanks for taking a moment to speak to us on your good finish so far tonight, best so far on the year. But sponsors and shout-outs, the people that make this happen behind the scenes.
Well, of course, I got to give a shout out to the team Wood Wrench, Joel, Brandon, everybody, Tim, and also a shout out to Wolfpack, Sal, Colton, and Charlie. We spend hours making this setup happen. Of course, Dieware, construction software. You got to check it out, dieware.com. And CORA, thanks for putting this on. And you guys up at LSR TV, you make this all happen. And thank you very much.
We appreciate the kind words, Don. But again, thanks for taking a moment to talk to us. Good luck to you, your team, and everybody else rolling forward here. Still a lot of racing to go.
Thank you. Have a great one.
That is our third place finisher. Just had the opportunity to talk to him out of the Wood Wrench stable. Going to be Dominic Dieball, the 15 machine, with a season best P3 tonight. And now down on pit road, PD. It at one point was 0.7 of a second at 10 to go. He brought it into a 10th with one final late race push. It's going to be P2 for the 40 of Dustin Loynes.
Yeah, well, Dustin, you just had a great night tonight. You drove your way through this field. Tell us how you managed to drive your car to a second place finish tonight.
Hey guys, it was really, I mean, after I had those two incidents straight off the bat, you know, I kind of was hanging around back and it wasn't really working for me, just happened to avoid a lot of stuff. So early I took a two-tire pit stop and that put me up in the top 10, I believe. And, you know, we just happened to run a good line and was starting to pull from everybody.
Well, late in that race, Dustin, it appeared, though, on the final restart, you had something for Damon Gilbert. He pulled away a little bit. Then coming the white flag, you're right on his bumper. If you had to do the last two laps over again, what would you do to get around Damon Gilbert?
You know, I think I would have tried to run my line a little bit better. I caught him, it was right at his bumper, I think with 2 to go, and I just missed my line and it gave him a gap, and that was about, you know, that was all she wrote right there.
Do you think, now you're going to head into the Indy cars, do you think you'll have a good run in the Indy cars that could possibly propel you to a chase berth?
That'd be nice. You know, I really don't know. I haven't run them enough to really say yay or nay, but I'd like to say yeah, sure.
All right, Dustin. Well, certainly a great run for you in the number 40 crew tonight. And before I let you go, who makes it happen for you and your crew? Who are your sponsors?
Well, Fast Lane Racing is huge for us. They brought me in not too long ago, and they've just taken great care of me. Fast Lane, Left Lane, Quick Lane, and definitely the wife. She allows me to do this every weekend.
All right, folks. So that was Dustin Loynes, second place finisher tonight. Meanwhile, though, in Victory Lane, the champagne is flying, and Evan Pasoko is caught up with Damon Gilbert in Victory Lane.
The champagne is flying, checkered flag tonight for the 68 Ford of Damon Gilbert. David, it was a fixed setup race, but you made it look like everybody else was on that fixed set, and you had something wild under the hood of that because you dominated this race. Had to deal with a late race charge, though, on Dustin Loynes after some few cautions there in the latter stages, but you get the job done with a little bit of a battle-scarred number 68 machine. First off, congratulations for the first win here for you on this season. How'd you get the job done because that thing was bad fast?
Yeah, I did quite a bit of practice laps, not that much before the race. And I noticed in the qualifying, when I had to qualify for this race, that I seemed to be a little bit faster than a lot of the cars. And so my first couple laps, I tried as hard as I could to get to the front, and I just seemed to stay there all day.
You were able to get the job done. It took a lot of attrition for some of these other guys. We saw a handful of drivers go with 2 tires, go with no tires. Did you ever consider that? I mean, you were up front the whole time, so you just took your 4 and you dominated with it.
I thought about taking 2 tires on that lap about 100 because if I was gonna pit, I wanted to make sure I got back out in the front, and that's for green flag stops. And if that final caution didn't come out, I would have only taken 2.
Well, everything fell into place for you tonight. We saw on some occasions people going to the bottom, try to make that work, but it seemed like the outside was definitely the place to be to make passes.
Yeah, the only person I passed on the outside or inside was Dominic Dieball, and it was because he was on older tires than I was. It seemed like the inside was not working at all. You had to pass him on the outside.
You came out clutch tonight, and Damon, it's going to be a checkered flag and a win for you for Race 8 from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Sponsors, shout-outs to everybody at the team who made this run and this win possible.
I just want to thank everybody at like Fastlane Racing. They all help me out when we have open setups and stuff, and they're all cool guys. And yeah, and like all the people watching, you guys for hosting it or putting this on.
All right, well, we appreciate the kind words, Dan, but again, congratulations for you and your dominating performance, and good luck rolling forward. We got IndyCars coming up next.
All right, thank you.
That is it down here from Victory Lane. Burning it down one more time. The driver of the number 68 Ford, Damon Gilbert, getting forward on the win board so far this season. PD still burning it down. Great win for that quick lane car.
Yeah, if I was him, I'd burn it down straight into the IndyCar season because, boy, these are two different cars. I think I made the reference earlier. It's like it's compared to driving a heavy boat to a airplane with wheels. That's the differential here, folks. It's going to be the alpha and omega here. It's just completely different, and we're truly going to see who's the best driver in this next stint.
I think it was the Bristol Motor Speedway, PD, that had the Joey Logano-Denny Hamlin fight, and they used advertisements for their upcoming race. So I'm going to see some posters that say going from the boat with the plane on wheels or whatever that analogy was, because that is a beautiful thing that you have created there. But 150 laps, our typical distance for our intermediate tracks around tonight's 1.54 mile. Intermediate racetrack has come to a close. Again, Damon Gilbert still on top, and I mean, he is still doing burnouts on the back straightaway. Is not done yet, but obviously you can tell that he's very excited. That car's got some battle scars on it, but he got the job done. PD, before we head off for tonight, last thoughts on what was an exciting one at Hotlanta?
Well, man, I gotta tell you, these boys put on a great show at Hotlanta, and the drivers certainly got hot at Atlanta, and it was just great to watch. Had a lot of fun watching them, and I think, like I said, once again, I think next week when we go to the Irish Hills of Michigan with the Indy cars, we're just going to see some great racing. The old Indy car at Michigan especially always puts on a great show, and we're in about 2 weeks' time, we're about to find out who's truly the best driver and fit to win this championship.
And we're going to get a teaser of what's coming up on the second half of this Season 4 regular season before we get on to the chase, and that's when the real business starts. Battling for the top 12 in points, still continuing on, but it is a checkered flag tonight for Damon Gilbert. That does it from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. On behalf of everybody at the CORA and CORA Championship Online Racing Association, their sponsors, Hurley Property Management, Small Town Computers, iRacing.com, TeamSpeak 3, and Bart Competition Karting. As well, you can check them out online, CORA-racing.com. Also the same on Facebook. Give them a like and join one of the 3 qualifiers that happens every week, and you can be on track next week, which is going to be coming up, as you said, from Michigan. But on behalf of, again, everybody at LSR TV, PJ Zeller for joining me up in the broadcast booth, Laura Lawson in the production hauler, myself, Evan Pasoko, thank you for tuning in. Damon Gilbert, your winner tonight. We'll see you for the final time in 2014 in 1 week's time from the Irish Hills of Michigan.